What's up?
Sometimes you got to drive for hours in a day, and the road is so boring that you have to have a cigarette in your hand for most of it.
And now you don't have anywhere to...
The moral of the story is...
Oh, my. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Popping those levels.
I will. Happily.
Pop them.
Happily.
Pop those level cheeks wide.
I wish I had a stutter. That would make this so much better.
It would be a nightmare to edit.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine having to cut around every time I gotta say a word.
I would leave it in there out of respect.
I would probably respectfully request it be cut the fuck out of the podcast.
Boy, oh boy.
Not because I hate a stutter, but because, Jesus, if you think 2.5 hours is long, imagine me having to say 2 sentences to you, and then we're at the 2.5 hour mark.
Well, look.
You got my 2 sentences or less for the movie, and then it's time to go to bed.
Maybe that's all we need. Maybe that's what... Because, like, I'm pretty sure people are listening to this while they're either, like, mopping in a dark hallway or, like, going to bed. So maybe that's what they need.
Shout out Matt O'Brien for having one of the funniest jokes about basements in Toronto.
It was a good one. And if you know what we're talking about...
I'm not going to parrot it because I feel like it's disrespectful to comedians to just say their bits unless they're Louis C.K.
So go seek it out. I think it's on Twitter. All right.
It's called Basements.
Basements. Basements, I think.
Well, that's a personal touch.
Hold on, I gotta chug this real quick.
Don't inhale it into your lungs like you did right before you hit record there.
Yeah, I got orange soda in my lungs.
It's good for you. That's the coating on the outside that keeps the COVID out.
My pneumonia is gonna be just like tangerine
flavored.
Yeah.
When you cough it out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's fluid in the lungs, right?
Well, that's where they get pulp for orange juice from. Yeah. And I'm really happy I said it because I want everybody to hate pulp as much as I do.
Well, I already hate pulp.
Well,
I've never liked pulp and orange juice, and I will never. And if I find it in my orange juice, you know what I do? I don't drink it. I take a napkin and I like take another cup and I use the napkin as a filter.
Nice.
Flip the cup over and then I make a mess. And I go, well, there was pulp in it.
Yeah.
So what was I to do?
This is what happens when you give me pulp in the drink. You get a mess.
I
will reassemble this orange and it'll be much drier this time.
Yeah, I'm looking to drink, not chew.
I don't want to pick my juice out of my teeth after.
That's not what breakfast is all about these days.
And you don't want difficulty at breakfast because you just got up. It should be easy for the first couple of hours.
Yeah, I just want my orange juice to slide down my throat without gagging or choking.
Imagining bits.
There doesn't need to be seeds and rind in my orange juice.
No, because you might as well just eat an orange then.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, and I'm glad we both have the same opinion on orange juice.
All juice. Don't care.
Oh.
Fuck that aloe drink. No, never.
You know what? That was not bad.
Okay.
I don't
like
mind that
somebody
one.
microwaved lychee jelly and then just put a bunch of bits in it.
I like it.
I'm out.
I'm in. That one I'm down with.
Some people rub that shit on their bodies when they have like poison ivy. So.
And you know what? I like when you get boba tea with the jelly chunks in it and not the terrible black marbles.
Yeah, the soggy black ball that comes off gelatinously in your mouth as you're trying to swallow it.
Yeah, that thing is, what you do is you load that in your straw and then you shoot it at somebody you don't like.
Yeah.
That's what boba's for.
I imagine the shitty tapioca balls to be the same as like, say you just open a clam and eat the pearl without rinsing it off.
I imagine it to be kind of like that, but instead of opening the clam, you're like, you're opening the clam, but like 2 weeks before that. So the pearl's not ready.
Right.
The pearl is very much so still forming.
Yeah. So it's like a giant caviar egg surrounded by fish gunk.
And it pops in your mouth and you're like, I don't know. Actually, I have no idea if tapioca pops in your mouth.
It doesn't. It's soft. It's like a wet gummy. It's so gross.
Well, I'm glad I never drink it.
Yeah, you should be.
My instincts were
jelly
correct.
comes in like flavors. So tapioca just comes in one flavor and it's leather bag.
Yeah, no, I like to taste the rainbow, not the purse.
Not the leprechaun's hat.
Man, I think we've really alienated a section of our audience that enjoys their drinks to come with a plastic.
That's just fine.
A plastic wrapper on top.
Drink it all day. I've said all I can say. So if we're in the same place and I see that, I'm not going to say anything because it would just be repetitious.
Yeah, just know if you offer it to me, it's going to be a no. And
I'll slap it out of your hand.
you shouldn't be offended when I say no. And with that, I beg of you to please,
For the love of God.
oh my, if you do one thing today,
Yeah.
after your hard day that you clearly have had a hard ass day,
You must have.
go to grindhousemovie.club. Just go there. Just go to that website and look at it. That's all I ask you. You could go to like the homepage if you want to and look at that. It's pretty neat.
You know how easy it is to just use your eyes in a direction? You're probably doing it right now.
Oh, yeah. So do that. You're listening to this podcast. Just look up the website. Just go there and check it out. And like, I haven't told anybody this, but if you go on
This
there,
is a fucking hot exclusive.
it's a not exclusive because I try my best to tell people about this, but I never do.
Right.
You go there, and I think it's like the left side of the website. If you click that, you can like sign up to be part of the Drinkers Club.
Drinkers Club.
Yeah,
I'm already a part of that.
Well,
Is that alcoholism joke?
and this one is not. But yeah, well, that's fine.
Well, they go hand in hand. You have one, you're gonna want the other.
Yeah, and then once you have the other, then you got the next step is 12 steps.
That's a lot of steps, dude.
I know. I don't see why it's not just like one step and it's just like stop.
Yeah.
Anyway, you go there and sign up, and then you get points for buying shit, and then also just like going to the website and looking at it. Mm-hmm. And then you can get free coffee.
Stoked.
That's how that works.
That's the easiest way to get a free thing ever, aside from having it fall on you from a great height like a piano.
And you know what? That sucks.
It does. This doesn't.
Then and that's the plug. That's the entire plug right there. Mm-hmm. Go darkroastcult.com, grindhousemovie.
Dingy.
Text message. Oh, don't worry.
Mr. Popularis. That's fine. I was on call last weekend, and that's always a concern. Because I gotta be honest, I got a certain way that my priorities are listed from most to least important. Mm-hmm. And this podcast, well, it's above answering a work call on a weekend. It's
good to hear.
So if your toilet's backing up, you're gonna have to wait at least 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're ankle deep in shit while hardware is on the docket today.
It is.
So
thanks, Andrew, for the intro song.
Also that.
Lap.
At least one of us is remembering.
Listen, you got the whole website out this time. I had to get the Andrew out.
There you go. And then like in a couple hours, maybe you'll get some feces out of somebody's shoes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not on call anymore, so it's not my responsibility any longer.
Yeah, and I guess as a plumber,
I don't touch their shoes.
Oh yeah, and the feces there within is their issue. I think
is.
You're not a shoe doctor. You're not an elf.
A lot of the time, the feces that gets everywhere else is also their issue. Because I slap a toilet back on and be like, all right, you're all set. Flush that, right? Look at that. All right, see ya.
So yeah, this is fine. Everything else around it.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. You know what that is, right? That's poo-poo.
It's half a lie. We do our best to clean it up, but there have been literal times where I've been like, should we do something about this? And my boss, who I was working with, it's like, no, fuck that.
You know what? High five.
I don't have hazmat gloves, dude.
Good bossing.
I don't know what's in there.
Good. That's some good bossing right there.
Yeah, it is.
Solid bossing.
Hardware this week.
That is the movie we did. I wasn't fucking around.
Let me tell you right now. I like to think The Office is a good show. I like to think The Office has a lot of like decent points, and that its references are reliable in their quality. Unfortunately, I was led astray by a spindly tall man.
Oh, Gabe, no.
By the name of Gabe.
Poor Gabe.
Who the argument between him and his girlfriend in that episode when this movie comes up is whether they watch this or Wall-E.
Yeah.
Which is what Aaron's choice was. Let me tell you, much as I hate kids' movies, I would choose Wall-E because fuck, this movie sucks.
Oh, boy. You know what? I had a better time when I did watch Wall-E, to be honest with you. I don't remember a single thing in Wall-E. I just know by the end of it, I was like, wow. And by the end of this movie, I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's about time.
I had to go smoke twice inside of 30 minutes while I watched this movie. Now, when I say that, what I mean is, I didn't get 30 minutes into the movie without having to have 2 cigarettes.
Damn.
How's that?
That's not a great start to this. Do you have 2 sentences or
Close
less?
your blinds when you're fucking. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't accept scrap metal from a guy who doesn't blink when he looks at you and sells it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If a guy walks into the place that you're peddling your shitty scrap that you got from the irradiated area that's nearby, and a dude walks in and all you can see is his eyes because of the lighting, and he just hands you shit silently, it's probably at best illegal, at worst murderous.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You know why you could only see his eyes?
Because the rest of his face is fucked up? I don't know.
Well, because the rest of his face was painted black.
Okay, good.
And then he had a glasses-shaped part that wasn't painted.
Well, that makes it worse, because why are you doing blackface? This movie's set in like 2100.
You think we'd be past that?
You would.
I don't have 2 sentences because honestly, this movie spoils itself. Hey, guess what? If it's on the ground, it's likely trash. Don't pick it up.
Hey, man, if it's on the ground covered by sand and wrapped in barbed wire and landmines, not worth traversing.
Yeah,
not worth picking up.
The same reason you don't pick up a USB thing you find on the street and plug that into your computer.
Yeah, you might get a virus. You might get way worse than a virus.
Yeah.
You might get evidence against you.
Yeah, you might end up on a list.
Yeah.
And that's not what we want for you. So again, this is a cautionary tale. Don't pick up USB drives. Don't pick up junk.
Yeah. Leave the junk.
Don't pick up junk.
Keep the valuables. That wasn't one.
For some reason, this film starts with a nice seizure.
Yeah. Right away. Epileptic fit.
Couple blasts in the eyes. And honestly, it sent me off.
This is the you woke up shaking.
Yeah, and then the movie was still playing, and it was worse. It was worse than the seizure.
That was that was her dream sequence, the first one of a couple that you have to sit through. And if that's what you're dreaming about, you got
something's wrong.
Go to the doctor.
Something's disconnected in your brain if your dreams are just flashes of light.
Cerebral firings, great. The first 30 minutes of this movie can be summed up in one sentence. Okay. Some woman dreaming, welding, desert.
It's good.
Dylan McDermott and his friend who refuses to take his sunglasses off even at night.
And which has garnered him the nickname Shades.
Yeah, his nickname should be Corey Hart.
He wears his sunglasses at night, indoors, on the toilet.
And for some reason, he's the only person in the movie with an Irish accent. Or Welsh, I don't know which. Either way, why?
You know he pulls those sunglasses off, and neither of those eyes are looking in the same direction.
No, that's probably why. He's got Steve Buscemi eyes under there.
Oh, that's not a term. Don't ever use that.
It's cool, when you watch a movie and you want to be shown things because there's imagery involved, and so instead what you get is expositional dialogue that explains even shit that who cares about it in the environment of the film. Iggy Pop, just a DJ. They're just gonna have him as that.
Yeah, there he is. What's his name? Angry Bob.
Yeah,
and
name.
If you're wondering who he is, because you clearly can't see his face, but meeting him in the street, you would know because he is the man with the industrial cock. I don't know what kind of radio station this is, where they're like, yeah, I keep saying
Angry Bob, the man with the industrial cock.
Hey, Iggy. Mention your dick a little more, actually, for this radio station of the future. By the way, I didn't realize this was the future. For a little while, I was like, this is either the future or it's homeless people.
It could be either. It could be the future or, homeless people in Egypt.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell. You see, Mars, and then it's just homeless people, and you're like...
Lots of them.
Is this the future? Is this now times?
Yeah. We got post-apocalypse dystopia here. Now, I described this movie as Mad Max meets the Terminator. I feel like I'm not doing the Terminator justice by comparing it to this movie.
No.
But there wasn't, what else do I have to work with in that case?
There's really not a whole lot to work with.
I mostly said the Terminator because the beginning of this made me think of the scene like Sarah Connor's dream where the nuclear bomb explodes and then it turns the color of this movie in the atmosphere.
Ah, yes. You mean where she is hanging onto a fence and then just becomes ash and a skeleton hanging onto a fence. I love that scene.
That's fantastic. It's a great way to start a movie. A great way to start a movie is not just a fucking title card that says no flesh shall be spared. Because let me tell you, plenty of flesh is spared in this movie. There's like 3 people that die.
Oh, and
all kinds of flesh gets spared.
I'm pretty pissed off about this because this movie, when it came out, had an X rating, and they were like, wow, this is too much. They cut out all the violence.
You know what? Yeah, as opposed to the 15-minute long full frontal fuck scene between Dylan McDermott and just some woman through a telephoto lens that a fat guy's looking at him through, and saying things that I would not dream to ever say to a woman.
You're getting way ahead of us.
I need to know that I need everyone listening to know right out of the gate that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Right?
The Terminator also has a really long, upsetting, full frontal sex scene. And it goes on. But by the way, the fucking Terminator, you got John Connor sending this guy Reese back in time. Reese ends up fucking his mom and making John Connor. What the fuck is that?
Back to the Future.
I don't...
It's Back to the Future.
It is.
It's the same damn thing.
Hey, I'm gonna
Only
need you
with
to
guns.
You can go back in time, but don't you dare fuck my hot mother. Don't you fuck my hot mom and make me. I swear to God.
Here's the thing, man. If I go back in time and your mom's hot and she's DTF, it's gonna be hard for me to say no.
Well,
you better show me some pictures of her when she was young so I could pick her out of a crowd.
Well, he does know because he's there to save her.
Yeah.
But he ends up banging her and making...
There's a lot of emotions involved in saving someone's life. Okay? She got Stockholm Syndrome.
So this movie...
Yeah. Sorry, I just went to a much better movie to talk about. Fuck.
Yeah, I'd rather some Arnold over some...
I wanted to fall asleep for 50 minutes of this movie. That's not even... It doesn't turn into a horror movie until 50 minutes in.
Yeah, I was struggling to find things to write about, but then once we hit that mark, I was like, and that's the sound of my hand going off.
Same.
Just
I think I have a page and a half for the first half of this movie. Twangy Western saloon music for no reason, given the tone of the film.
You know what music that is?
What's that?
That's Tremors music right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's the intro to Tremors.
That's fucking funny.
But yeah, it doesn't fit. It's not post-apocalyptic. It's like Old West.
I read on the trivia that they wanted to make a sequel and that it was going to be a Western. So it's like he's trying to shoehorn that idea into his first movie that's not one.
Well, it's basically a Western. They're in a desert. All you need to do is drop a saloon in the middle of it. Boom.
Yeah, doors swinging.
It's like a future Western.
Dylan McDermott wears a power glove the whole movie.
Yeah, they don't explain that. I'm sure they did, but they just probably cut it out of the film.
My assumption is that because he comes from the military and he got kicked out, that he lost his hand while he was in the military. And then, but like the best part is, it's almost literally a Nintendo Power Glove.
It really
like
does.
If you look closely at it, it's mostly rubber.
It looks painted.
Yes.
It looks very, very painted.
Low budgetly painted.
And he brings it right into the shower when he fucks his girlfriend.
He does. He brings it into the shower. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a wire that's attaching it to the inside of his wrist. So it's not like he could take it off. But with that being said, wrap it in a garbage bag. Also, during that shower scene, the first thing he does is cup her naked ass with a cold metal hand. You have a fucking perfectly good free human hand.
You're just gonna get her skin pinched in the folds.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Plus, you know that, like, it's an old school prosthetic, so he doesn't have that good of grip control.
Oh, yeah.
It could be like fucking Lenny with the fucking rabbits.
Just split her cheeks wide open. The hard way. So, all right, yeah, we get steampunk desert man as just like this dude, and he's just walking through the desert, and he happens upon a pile of shit junk.
Surrounded by barbed wire.
And a cluster of mines, like so tightly clustered that...
He cuts the wire and he walks through them. I was like, where the fuck do all the mines go on the ground? He just walks right through like there weren't 30 mines.
Wink, wink. You know how mines are just on the surface like that, right?
Yeah.
It's just so you can see them.
Also that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's whoever placed those there really knows how landmines work.
Well, I mean, he got whatever this robot was supposed to be.
There's a hand sticking out of the sand, and the second I saw it, I was like, that hand's gonna move. That hand's gonna move on its own.
I don't know how. How did you guess that? Wow.
Anytime you see a hand sticking out of the dirt or sand, it moves.
Well, I can't believe you. And this movie about the robot that's dead.
Yeah.
And it's gonna move like it's alive? I don't think so, buddy. We got this whole movie with this dead robot to deal with. No way it comes to life.
The Nomad looks like one of the monsters from Frankenstein's army. He's just so like wrapped in metal and like torn fabric.
And the hat.
Yeah.
It's the hat too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like, and then he just digs it out like a cat in a litter box, looking for a spot to poo.
They have him walk up the high point of a sand dune just so that like they could film him slip repeatedly, as if this is his first time being in a desert where sand dunes are. He's walking across the peak of it, and he's like, I don't know why I can't get my footing.
Boy, oh boy, if only there was some stairs in this desert. This dude, he looks like he like passed out at Burning Man and then woke up a week later, and he's like, oh shit, my ride. Fuck.
My ride. Where's the giant statue?
That's like the first 10 minutes of this is just this guy being like, I gotta get out of the desert.
I'm just thinking about how fucking hot it must be in that suit. Like, that's your choice of desert attire. Have you ever been in a desert? It's the hottest place. Put that shit in your backpack and then wear it at night. Otherwise, you're just you're giving yourself a heat stroke all day.
Yeah.
You're in an arid, dry land after like a nuclear explosion. So there's no atmosphere to protect you from the sun's harmful rays.
Well, I mean, maybe he's just got real sensitive skin.
Worth noting that this is Angry Bob, the man with the industrial dick, is the first spoken line you hear in the film. That's your introduction to dialogue.
Oh, yeah. And this guy, it sounds like a Grand Theft Auto, like a radio station on GTA.
Yeah.
And
our industrialization, all the smokestacks and shit, has made our planet nearly inhabitable, and we're all fucked. Here's some Def Leppard.
Yeah. He's like, oh, and as for the good news, yeah, there isn't any.
Yeah. We're just done.
He says something like, oh, yeah, weather control says it's going to keep getting hotter. Like, why? You could... Your weather control. It's not the weather network.
The word is right in the name.
Yeah. You're clearly controlling the weather. Just turn it down.
Yeah. Hit that AC button.
What the fuck?
Weather control. More like weather out of control because it's so hot.
Booyah. You got him. Everyone in the future is super gruff.
Remember when like movies, and this is a good example too, because like later on Taxi Cab Driver is Lemmy from Motorhead, and he plays Ace of Spades by Motorhead, which is the equivalent of an Uber driver forcing you to listen to his mixtape. But in the meantime, there's music that like, you know, it's not a real song when you hear it, because this is an 80s movie that was released in the 90s. And every 80s movie has like shitty, like rudimentary and conventional like hard rock. Remember Friday the 13th 8 when the chick's playing the guitar?
Oh yeah.
In the ship?
Yeah.
It's the same. Like, that's not a song. That's someone's best idea of what a rock song would sound like. Yeah. And you can tell the difference between those two things.
Oh, you for sure can.
All the music that's made in this movie, like made for this movie in order to like build world, it's just, I keep thinking in the back of my head, like, this has never been a song.
And then it's Ace of Spades.
And then, yeah, you get that.
Yeah, because, yeah, even, Angry Bob here is like, yeah, so fucking here's some rock and roll. And it's like,
exactly. All right.
It's just like one dude on many computers.
He heard half of a Van Halen song on a vinyl once while he's stoned, and he's like, I could do that.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, we end up at this junkyard. I think there's like a lot of walking and talking, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, shitload.
These two guys.
They're walking through places that you never see again in the movie.
They're talking about how great it is in New York City. So where are these guys are in America somewhere, I guess.
They say it at some point, but I don't. Wherever it is, it's within walking distance.
And we end up at this junkyard, where there is a man who runs this almost, I would say, junk pawn shop.
That's exactly what it is.
And this man, now he's not a big man. No,
he could be described as little.
Yes, he is a little person.
Yeah. Now, why is it that every movie has a little person running like a seedy, you got to walk down a wet flight of stairs, this is not legit or legal whatsoever store?
You mean like Star Wars? It's like every Star Wars, there's like a little guy in a shop.
Little guy. Now, they tried to save it by giving him wings in like episode 1 and 2, but he's still a scumbag. And also, like, now I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
He's supposed to be Jewish. They don't ever say that he is, but they put every horribly disrespectful Jewish stereotype into his character and personality.
Are we talking about
I'm talking about the fucking elephant trunk of a nose dude on, I don't even know, Tatooine, like young Anakin.
Yeah, okay. Oh, the dude, the guy who's got Anakin and
the guy that
and his mom as
sets up
slaves.
a child in a fucking racing air
Pod racing.
Yeah. That malfunctions immediately like he knew it was going to happen.
Okay.
Endangers a child willingly.
See, and here I thought you were talking about the little person. The little person that's clearly voiced over in this film.
Yes, he is. Almost every single one of his lines.
Actually, every single one.
Okay.
Because I tell you what, look.
I didn't look at his mouth moving every time, but I definitely, every time I did look up, see that.
This is going to make me sound like a midget bigot.
A midget. All right? It was right there in front of your face.
It was, and I didn't want to say it. I chose not to.
Shoulda.
But I don't believe little people have
a voice that gravelly.
Yes, a gruff voice such as this gentleman, and I believe I'm
trying to find an exception. I'm trying real hard to think of an exception to that.
I don't want to, because I didn't look it up.
What did Gary Coleman sound like right before he died?
I don't know.
There might have been a little rasp in there. Sorry, a normal sized rasp inside of a little person.
I just remember the episode of The Simpsons where he's the security guard. That's all I know.
Yeah. But that guy like smoked.
Well, anyway, so this guy, I had a point there.
Well, you're inhaling sand all day. Yeah. All of his lines are voiced over. There's no way that's his natural voice.
Oh, yeah.
And like you can look at his face and know that.
Oh, for sure. And I just didn't want to sound like a bigot. But
now, is it bigotry?
This is the point I'm bringing up here.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the point. It's just he's voiced over, and I know it.
Is it bigotry when you hear your actor's voice in post and go, well, that sounds like an elf. Let's change that to a regular sized person's voice.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is.
That seems like, I don't know if it's racial suppression, but it certainly is ableist. There we go. That's the word for this.
I'm quite certain that this man's voice is the voice of the man who watches, who refers to himself as Santa Claus, the pervert. I'm pretty sure that's his voice. I didn't look it up or anything, but I think
the pervert.
When he's saying those dirty things, it sounds like the midget. Oh,
you know what? A little. Maybe he was putting on something like, yeah, they do both have unsettling voices, I suppose.
So yeah, we're in this junkyard. This little person's selling stuff, and then Steampunk Willie, as I call him, comes in.
Let's rock down the list real quick of and it's not. I'm not going to list the full, but I did write down because you mentioned New York and how nice it would be to go there because it's a relatively intact city, is the point he's making, and so for salvage, like a meth head with a shopping cart, copper super important to rip out of houses.
Oh, for sure.
But on that list, because Shades is just listing off all the things available there, okay? Valuable metals, copper, car parts, so that's your catalytic converters, that's your palladium, your nickel, your cadmium, and toupees.
Toupees, bridge work, prosthetic limbs.
Yeah. Fake hair, though.
Hey.
Because when I can't walk because my leg got blown off by a landmine that was clearly visible, I care more about the male pattern baldness.
Well, I mean, it's the future. There's a lot of radiation, a lot of hair falling out.
You figured that it would just be like commonplace for bald people to exist then, though. Like, if anything, you would fit in less if you had a full head of hair.
Well, look, in the future, there's no Bruce Willises to give us confidence as balding individuals. I don't know if I am or not. I refuse to look.
No, I don't care either.
One day I'm gonna go up there and it's gonna go, oh boy, smooth. But until
like
that day,
Krillin. You're just gonna have to get stars tattooed on your forehead.
Till that day comes, I don't know, but there's no Bruce Willises in the future. You
Lean
know,
Krill into it. I'm on a roll, dude.
Get out of here.
No idea.
So yeah, this guy brings in that bag of robot parts. Oh wait. Also, there's a discussion had between the clerk and these two guys, and I forget what they say that makes him say this, but they're talking about his stature.
Yes.
And how he's small, and he says something about like, hey, it's not my fault my mom got a dose in the big one. So I assume they're implying that there was a nuclear explosion, and because of this,
yes,
he is now a midget.
Makes it sound like he's a butt baby.
I was gonna say it makes it sound like his
mom got a dose in the big one. All right,
is the big one her bum?
It is.
See, I was no. He's trying to blame his mom being a sick radiation person on his dwarfism.
Did you catch the Dylan McDermott? That's the name of the character, Moses.
Yes,
now I took a very long pause there because that's the most on the fucking nose name for your main character who's a savior in your movie.
Shh.
All right?
No,
sacrificial savior. We're going to name him Moses because
much.
Jesus would be a bit far. Okay?
Yeah, all right.
Also, they gave this guy, this salvager. Anyway, Dylan McDermott says, didn't you used to be an elf to him?
That's what it is.
Looked that up on the trivia page, and it turns out he ad-libbed that line because this actor did indeed used to be an elf in Moles. So we're just gonna gloss over that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he says. That prompts him to like try and blame that away on his mom being a mutant.
Yeah, I also want to point out that the set designers gave this man a table to sit at that he needs a high chair to sit at.
I'm certain he's sitting on the table. I'm pretty sure he's Jabba the Hutting most of the time.
Am I supposed to sit like behind this table for this scene? Because I'm in this chair and it's just my eyes. I just sit on the fucking table. You're only working a half day anyway.
You sit on that table, but if you put your legs over it and kick, you're done. We'll find a... We don't need that.
like a sad son at a bar stool.
We want your feet straight out like a doll propped up against a wall.
Like Chucky's stunt double.
Yeah. So yeah, we get Steampunk Willie comes in to drop. He's like trying to sell this bag of robot parts. But this guy has no idea how to haggle. Also, no idea how to wash his face.
No, he's really bad at washing his face, and he overpays for this fucking helmet that the Nomad shows up in because he wants it in order to impress his girlfriend. But like, he still tries to sell it to the salvager. And then the amount that he paid was 20 over the salvagers. And this is an important note later on in the movie because this guy knows exactly what is in Moses' hands. He wants it real bad.
Yeah, he does.
So this guy really tried to be a miser during this negotiation. 30 credits? Because I just paid a stranger with one visible eye 50.
That doesn't sound like a great deal.
It sounds like nobody knows how to haggle here.
He also steals a part of it.
Yes, he does. It's the important part.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Well, look at his shop and his wares, all right?
His shop is a wall of junk.
He hasn't gotten to this level of success by being honest about it.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna have to go get my glasses.
Yeah.
They don't show him get up and move because that would have been him like having to roll over onto his knees and stand up on the table and like
he just
jump
has a
down.
stack of pillows down there.
Yeah.
So it's like a foot. It's like there's a perfect parkour roll onto the floor, fucking 30 feet away for him.
Roll off and you hear him go, ugh!
I missed.
Oh my god. So yeah, he has no idea how to haggle this guy. He just he keeps going up.
Yeah.
And up.
Yeah, he does.
And eventually...
And the guy doesn't respond at all, which is not... there's an exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just... Okay, well, you're still staring at me and you haven't blinked, so you must not like my offer.
Right. This guy, he's a lead singer of some band, I don't know.
Yeah, some band that I've never fucking heard of.
Yep.
That he wanted to do the whole soundtrack, and they were like, no.
That seems a little much. You're the guy with the eyes in the movie? Come on. Leave some soundtrack for Lemmy here.
Yeah, actual, celebrities that people will recognize. Not the guy that plays bar mitzvahs for his uncle.
So they kick him out after they buy the thing off him, and then the guy comes back and is like, "Whoa, who was that? There was somebody here?" And he's like, "Yeah, he was looking for the bathroom." Well, why didn't he just piss in the street like everyone else?
That street, it's surprising how dry the sand is. On the road, I call them roads, on the pathways, because of how much pissing there must be happening.
Well, there's a lot of people in the future. They're talking about population control here.
Yeah.
On the radio.
Oh, yeah. Subtlety in film?
No, not in this one.
No, nobody who's only seen this movie has a clue what that concept is. Every time we turn on the TV, let's talk about every time Moses' girlfriend, whose name I can't remember, but it's written down, turns on the TV. You get two options. You get news about this new population control bill where we're going to start sterilizing people. So hurry up and get in line. And then we get literal war crime footage from reality.
Yeah, there's a couple dead people in trenches.
Yeah. And you know exactly what two groups of people were involved in that filming. Okay?
Yeah.
That's one of the first things you see when she turns the fucking television on.
Man, oh man, is the future rough.
It is, apparently.
Yeah. Fuck.
I got that whole my mom got dosed thing, and I was like, fucking, I thought he was talking about Moses' dick at the time.
Oh.
So I was wrong, but I thought it was like, you're so irradiated at this point from going out into the zone that your bad dick is just gonna pump out mongoloids from now on. Take it from me.
They did have that conversation.
Yeah.
Somebody did anyway.
Holy fuck.
So yeah, his girlfriend wakes up to Angry Bob. 6:30 a.m. and Angry Bob is screaming.
Yeah, that's a lot to wake up to.
Screaming on the radio.
Mm-hmm. And given where we are just in the world and the nature of it, I would think that was just somebody in my house.
Not only does he scream, he also then just delivers news about dead people.
Yep.
Yeah, like, oh, people are dying.
Whoops.
And also...
Wait until we get that sterilization drug in, yeah?
Yeah, he's talking about how that's the new thing. Everybody's going to get sterilized. But also, hey, just so you know, the people who came up with the idea of this law, they killed themselves. So... No, don't worry about it, though.
The law itself's probably fine.
Yeah, these guys, they're just dead, is all. Mysteriously, with no explanation, is all. So that's just something we deal with.
Yeah, fucking. Back in the 80s and 90s when high tech was just a bunch of wires plugged into a control box needlessly.
Yeah.
Like her whole console for people buzzing in is like 4 monitors deep, even though one's just a camera, and you press one button to open the door.
Yeah, they really thought in the future that computers were going to be fucking huge.
Huge, and all of its parts would be exposed on the outside.
And it could likely control a rocket launch if need be. There's enough panels.
100%.
Enough like levers and shit. Like how many how many buttons does your computer need? How many?
This woman has too many.
Yeah.
The other thing that's fucked about it is like she goes into her kitchen, right? And everything is on the grid. Blender, microwave. Like these are all like robotic devices with AI in them. I don't need my microwave to like know what it's doing. I just need it to have buttons I press.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get a power outage and everything's off. I can't use a single goddamn thing now.
Yeah. What is
hope this brownout that happens all the time in a world like this passes soon.
And how is she gonna brew her disgusting like foliage tea?
Yeah, that tea just looks like insides.
Hey, coffee machine, just put hot water on the leaves, please.
Also, you don't make tea with a coffee pot. I don't care.
In the future, you do. And then
French presses don't exist.
Cut right to these two guys. Like I don't know what night day happened, or if these guys just hit the pawn shop super early in the morning.
I have no idea.
And then it was her waking up, and now it's 6:30 a.m.
I need you to know all of this takes place over essentially one day.
That's bizarre.
Yes, it is. Because they travel a lot. They go on a boat, they call it a taxi. It's not. It's a fucking boat.
Well, it's like a car that is part of a raft. But this is the scene we get to. They're getting into a cab. Piloted by Lemmy, which by the way, the best part of the trivia page, anything that was on the trivia page, the best part of it was that they gave Lemmy a real gun and a real bottle of whiskey. Yeah, and he got drunk and lost the gun in the river.
Yeah, he just dropped that right out the window like an asshole.
And
he probably asked for both of those things. He's like, "You want me in your movie? Cool. I have 2 stipulations."
Well, yeah, I assumed that as well. I need a gun and some liquor. Let's go.
I'm a little bit anti-union, so I'm not part of the Screen Actors Guild. You can just pay me in booze and bullets.
And he gets all of like 2 lines, and it's like,
squanders them both.
Hey, you guys like Ace of Spades? And he turns the knob and it just song starts up. I don't know what control that is, but
where you can just the tape's already in and you turn a knob and it just plays the song right away and it's the one you wanted.
Oh yeah, these guys used to be okay back in the day. It's me though. Hey, you guys like this? You guys like music? What kind of music? Oh, music. Just music. You guys like it or what?
Doesn't really narrow it down. I think probably the reason why he had so few lines is because after those two, he became incomprehensible.
Well, yeah, I think so. There's like a lot of his lines are just like put over shots of this boat moving through this shit river.
Yeah.
And he's like talking about having a gun, which he doesn't have.
Because you don't get to see it because he loses it right away, I bet.
Oh my God.
Fuck's sake. Jill's building has just hot running water on tap, which seems impossible. Unless it's built on a steam pipe. And then the building has doormen who all they do is play chess and berate each other all day.
They're the worst. These are the worst. Bad. Worst security guards ever. They let perverts in.
Yes.
And then they let bad things happen.
Now, part of that is Jill's fault because her rules for the doorman, her request as a tenant is don't let that weird perv in who keeps ding-dong ditching me like a 14-year-old. But if you see the delivery guy, let him right up because I don't want to answer the bell. As if this 17-year-old doorman could tell the difference between a stranger and a stranger.
Well, any good doorman would be like, hey, are you here to harass my people? Are you here to sniff panties? Or are you dropping those panties off, sir?
I used to be a private investigator. You know the easiest way to get into a building? I have a delivery.
Let's see it.
It's right here. Mail.
Nah.
You're smarter than 90% of people who live in apartment buildings.
You're here to sniff panties, I can tell by the look on your face.
I'm here to sniff panties.
At some point during this conversation...
Would say yes.
At some point during this conversation with Lemmy, by the way, people will say yes. There are proud panty sniffers out there.
Yeah, that's true.
They mentioned that sometimes they go to space.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, dope. When does that happen in this film?
Nope.
Is it because it's too expensive to do that?
Probably. Although, how's this? They're on Earth. That shit's in space.
It's not good.
No, it's not.
By that logic, every movie is a sci-fi film.
Yep.
I really liked how...
Nailed it.
I really like the Notebook of the future. Where it takes place in space.
The Notebook? More like the PDA, because technology.
So they...
That's fine.
They roll up to this fucking place where the redhead lives, and somebody has just spray painted a goat.
Yes.
There's just a goat.
I had that written right for
spray paint.
For some fucking reason. Just a goat right there. Not explained.
Nope. Just that's what happens in the future. Goats in the middle of a city and they get spray painted.
Also, every idle screen for every kitchen appliance that has way too much software in it looks like the fucking screen from Ghostbusters game from 1986. I have one specific one in mind.
Okay.
Like she boots up the thing, I think it's the microwave, which has it has an LED display on the screen where you have to see like whether or not your food's still good. So defeats the purpose. Fucked it up. And like it's got a starter logo, and it looks like the fucking same starter logo when you like turn on the Super Nintendo and you're playing Ghostbusters.
Interesting.
It's fucked.
It is fucked. I didn't take note to any of that shit. I was too busy writing down about how Dylan McDermott and fucking Shades stroll through this place being like, ha, glad I'm not a bum, huh?
So you're like 5 feet away from 10 of them.
Look at that.
Man.
Glad that's not me, huh?
That filthy hobo?
Look at this guy selling rocks over here. Good thing I've got this robot arm.
Made me
grab a tit.
Immediately reminded me of, you might not remember this, but we were at a certain person's house who shall remain nameless at this point. And he was playing Rage, and one of the NPC characters in Rage has a bionic arm, and a lot of people were hungover, and just in the middle of dead silence, you looked over and you went, I bet she gives a mean HJ with that robot hand. So does Moses.
Well, yeah, Moses is King HJ.
Yeah. You know, if he has enough strength to part the Red Sea,
he's got enough strength to pull it right off.
Yes.
He'll pull it right off at the taint. So there's no putting it back on. There's no amount of stitches in the world that are gonna reseal a taint.
Can we also talk about how Jill, is a fucking hoarder?
We could talk about that, but before that, can we talk about when they're like, hey, this place is going to hell, and then they just show a baby tied to a dead person? Because that happens in this film.
Oh my god. I forgot about the baby tied to the dead person out in the open.
It's just a baby. It's just a dead person. Like, maybe
for no reason.
They could be passed out, but in my universe, they're dead.
Not only is that in this movie, but it's also inside Jill's building in the stairwell, the only way to get up the building.
So it's only natural that, yes, a hoarder would live in a building where a baby is secured to its parent.
These doormen don't do shit. They just leave her to die, be dead.
Well,
on the landing.
I guess somebody drove a vehicle through the front door, so now instead of boarding it up, the homeless just wash in like the tide. That's that's that.
They wash in like the fucking tide. Oh my god.
During this scene when they finally get up there to the hoarder apartment, the girlfriend is way more interested in talking to Shades.
Way happier to see Shades than her actual estranged boyfriend.
I think they have a conversation where they're like, hey, how
have you been? Oh, good.
You? Before that, like, Shades is like, yeah, no, she's been good. And he's like, well, how do you know she's been good?
Because I keep an eye on her for you.
Oh, good. Thank you very much for doing that. That's very
how
nice
that conversation goes. He goes, keep it up.
Yeah, thanks for only keeping your eyes on her and not your dick.
Maybe inquire further as to what eye he's speaking of.
The one where the white tears come out of.
Yeah, when you're happy instead of sad, like it's Bizarro World. Just like fucking checks Moses to make sure that she's not gonna grow a third arm by touching him with her fucking Geiger counter, and it just goes, "You seem fine." Shades, bro, I saw you yesterday, and those were off. And fucking Moses trying to be like, "Man, I went through hell and back with near a midget in order to get you this gift," and she just fucking storms right over top of that.
Yeah.
He has to say it 3 fucking times. And then even then, she's not even that enthused by it when he pulls it out.
No. Because Shades is there, and Shades got her something the other day.
Yeah, it's a different gift, and she wanted it much more. So let's just set that delicately in the middle of... You remember the Matrix Revolutions?
Yeah.
You remember at the end when Neo sacrifices himself to a giant ball of moving wires?
Yeah, I do believe I remember
this
that.
This woman is like, she does art for rich people, and that's what she's come up with. She essentially just went to the fucking wreckage of the World Trade Center with a truck and picked things up and took them home.
She loaded her apartment.
And all she does is plasma cut sheets of metal and then nothing out. Like, you don't get to see her weld a single thing together.
Nope. She just makes it worse, I believe, and then paints an American flag on it. That's her art. And
then, like, finally, Jill and Moses hug, and Shade is like, I need to get the fuck out of here, because hugging means fuck time.
Mm-hmm. And
I've had my share of hugs in public, and very rarely, and I've been around during other people's hugs in public. Very rarely do I think anyway, that I've put off the impression, nor have I received the impression, that fucking is going to happen, like, so quick that I need to go home now and get high about it.
Well, let me tell you, that's exactly what he does.
Dude, he gets the highest ever about it.
The amount of money I'd pay to be the high that he is.
Yeah. You try to put your pants on, you just fall into a pile of pillows majestically and comfortably.
Oh, you're telling me I'm high and I fall into a pile of pillows? That's where I stay.
Yeah, that's the end of the night.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help you. I'm in pillow world.
So I don't know how, like I was saying, it's a post-apocalypse and there's homeless people fucking littering the street like actual litter, but somehow there's just perfectly hot water in the shower.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing the future's done correctly is supply the apartment buildings with adequate hot water so that you may have a just steamy fuck.
And it doesn't even just stop there. Let's be clear about that.
Well, had it stopped there, then I mean, half this gross shit in this film would have taken place, which would have been great.
It would have been. You could have just cut it right there. Perfect example of a sex scene that could have ended a third of the way through.
Honestly, like...
Fuck that, a fifth. It's long.
You could have showed them, like, shower, steaming up, outside of the shower, butt cheeks up against the glass. And then it pans over and a dude in, like a nice suit, he's just like, yeah, they're fucking. We'll be right back. And then just like, boom, next scene. That's
like,
it.
Just voice over like the Dukes of Hazzard on a pause frame.
Well, these two sure have gotten themselves into a dilly of a pickle fucking in the shower, hadn't they? Hope one of them done slip and done break their neck now.
I don't know if later on in the movie you noticed how small that shower is. I don't know how they had the room to get anything done in there.
A lot of legs up on those shower soap dishes.
Oh my fucking God.
The soap dishes support a lot of
I
weight.
don't even think there was... It looked like the kind of shower you see in the back of a mechanic shop that hasn't been used in 10 and a half years.
Oh yeah, because those are for chemicals. That's for chemical spills.
Yeah, it's when you get bad things in your eyes.
Well, look, I'm judging by the state of our apartment, I don't think there was much soap. Generally, hoarders aren't really concerned with getting to the bathroom.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, he fucking goes downtown with those fucking thick-ass power glove hand fingers, which are, I mean, you only need one.
Oh, yeah.
And also it's ribbed for her pleasure.
And
It's ribbed for her metallic poisoning is what it's ribbed for.
Well, what's worse is that you can see that Dylan McDermott is visibly dirty and the water is doing nothing to remove the dirt. So,
she doesn't even wait for it to get clean.
Yeah, you're just going to get a UTI. That's all. That's
come directly in there.
If you don't get it from like the oily power glove of the robotic.
Yeah, you're going to get it from anything else on any other part of him that exists.
Oh, boy. That's the future.
I just wrote in all caps, she wants the robot hand.
I believe before this like shower scene happens, it like zooms in on the robot's eyes. Like
it does. Like, he's watching. He's fucking watching. He sees all, dude.
Mm-hmm. So that's
and then later on, you get his shitty fucking what game? Fucking James Bond GoldenEye heads-up display viewfinder that he sees out of impossibly, just staring at them in infrared while they're fucking. Mm-hmm. So you get to see the heat change location.
And very much so, it's a lot like this camera this gentleman is.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Somebody's watching the love.
I don't know why he's choosing to like just be in the Matrix while he's trying to watch two people bang. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, the robot is powered up from horniness. But then
so's this guy.
Yeah. So somebody's watching, and let me tell you, Jay, the things that they are saying.
Yeah.
Their grandma would be in tears if they heard them talking like this.
This guy says things that I have not thought to say to a woman ever in my life.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
I have, now I'm not a stenographer, but I do have some of this transcribed.
Oh, good.
For posterity. In the event we need to go back into the records to prove anything later on during deposition.
I'm glad you had the forethought to do that, because I just wrote the most upsetting one.
I wrote 4.
Okay.
Before I get to that, I want to ask you, because maybe you have an answer. Why is it that in the 80s everyone bangs while there's a blue strobe light on in the room like the cops arrived?
I did notice that as well. I believe it's sort of the way now how people only bang now these days if the room is lit up purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think like strobe lights were real big back then, and now it's just like LED lights.
Yeah, and like you wonder why fucking people have epilepsy forever. Anyway, getting to the part of this movie where the dialogue is the richest. Just imagine a man
like a red velvet cake.
Yeah, with a bird watching lens on his camera.
And he's also got like one of those private investigator ears, the concave dome with the listening device.
I know what you mean. Right. Yeah. The tiny satellite dish.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
He's got one of those aimed up in the window.
And now he's talking dirty. I like to think in his fantasy he's talking dirty to the woman in question. But the only person who's hearing this is him, which means he's essentially saying it to himself.
Yeah, that...
You don't really see his hands. And then once you do see them, you see exactly where they are.
Yeah, and in this scene, yeah, you don't see them for sure. So he says some things. A lot
really
of them were
instructions.
They could have been
either
to either person.
I don't know about that.
I do, because we'll go ahead and which ones have you? What of all the, as you said, rich, just verbally.
This is quality language.
Yeah, like obviously written.
Years of development in linguistics and culture has led to this moment.
And they brought in like a professional, and they consulted them on, like dialogue that would sound just real.
Accurate for this time period. That's correct.
Dialogue that slaps.
Okay. Now, again, to paint the picture, this man has a ponytail that's half Penn Jillette and half Jean-Luc Picard. His tongue is out for the majority of this, and his body is wet.
Before we're introduced to the man, we are introduced to what's around him as well. I don't know if you took any note, because that's what I noted today.
I
when
didn't
I was watching
see
it.
much of it because it was quite poorly lit.
Well, let me tell you about the art this man keeps on his wall before we hear about the art that comes out of his mouth, because that tongue
Shakespearean poetry.
It does a lot of things.
Pissing so many people off, making this take like 7 minutes.
This man has a collection, and this collection is serialized.
Okay.
There are labels on the old label machines, and they're all numbers and letters.
I think I saw one. I don't remember what it said.
Well, it's just code. It's just code.
Okay.
So he's got this.
He's got his own Dewey Decimal System.
He does. Because he likes to keep this art filed away.
Well, you don't want to rifle through everything to find the article you want.
Oh yeah, no. So he keeps these Polaroids up on the wall. It's nice. It's just a bunch
defeating the purpose of the code underneath, because you can just look with your eyes.
Exactly. But when you're looking at blurry upskirt photos from a Polaroid camera, generally you don't want to be thumbing through them looking at the numbers. I would assume. Because he's got those, and you know what else he's got, Jay? Something I noticed today that really made me believe that there was much more to this film that got cut out.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, this guy has his own side story.
I don't want to know it.
Next to his blurry upskirt photos, and there's no way that's not what they are.
Oh, taken candidly.
He's got a collection of children's shoes. On the wall, again, serialized with their own code of numbers. And they're children's shoes because they small. They are tiny toddler shoes.
Maybe they're Alvy's shoes.
Nope. There's a lot of them.
Alvy is the scrapper. I remembered his name because I have it written.
So this man, with that being painted...
Perfect picture illustrated.
Tommy Bahama shirt, tongue flicking like a demon.
Now, it's really important to know that during this scene, what he's watching is what you also get to see as a viewer, which is full, again, frontal, fucking. You get to see it's one drip away from being a hardcore porno.
Honestly,
it's one side nut away.
If it wasn't in like Predator vision, you would see shaft and butt cheeks and you would see it sliding. You would see total slippage. So,
and to make it ambient, over top of this gentleman is saying things such as, "Spread those lips, take that big dick." Really made it really important to specify the size, because he knew for sure. Take it all the way in, just in case you're wondering how much big dick to take. All. And my personal favorite, squeeze that tube.
Yeah.
Squeeze that tube. What are you trying to get the sausage out?
I really like that. This is in the future, and we know Go-Gurts have made it that far. Good on Go-Gurts. Go-Gurts are still in business.
That's the only tube you squeeze to get white stuff out of it.
Amongst all of that, he also says, "Yeah, stare at that ass,"
which neither of them can.
Given what I'm to infer from the instructions he's given, the asses aren't. And why would you want her to stare at his ass?
You know who he's telling to stare at the ass? The robot head.
Yeah.
Because that's his angle.
That's yeah. He's got the better angle. He's probably jealous.
And then after all this, bang, and oh my god, I was so mad because like this is your introduction to this character also. Like you get no idea who the fuck like so at the time I was like, why is this even in the fucking movie? Like he comes back later.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand why he needed to be. I thought they were just making it gross on purpose.
No.
You know?
So while this is going down, the camera pans out and you see that he has got his hands down his pants and he is flicking his tongue to Christmas music.
Yeah, Christmas music is playing. You want to keep it festive.
Look in the background. There's also a big old Santa with like tubes coming out of it. And then look in the foreground. It's a meth lab. This guy has got so much. He's murdering kids.
Holy shit.
He's taking up skirts. He's making meth.
Doing meth. Later on, he has a throwaway line about like, because fucking Jill gets high throughout this whole movie.
Yeah, oh, for sure she does.
Only the finest of blunts.
Oh yeah, she smokes. They got a name
like Good Vibes. I gotta find it. It's in here.
Yeah.
And then he's got a throwaway line about like, people come over to my place and they get high as fuck.
Yeah.
Which is not what I need somebody to hear on my somebody to tell me rather on like my first time meeting them, and they just walked into my my apartment without me inviting them in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people come over to my place, I give them weed and they get high and then they get horny.
Yes.
Do you get horny?
Yeah, that's how that conversation goes.
Sir,
I wrote so much about the interaction between the two of them because it baffles me. None of it makes a lick of sense, which is a good pun as per what happens during that scene.
Oh my god.
He licks Jill's nose and she does nothing about it, that's all. So then they go to sleep and she wakes up in the middle of the night, I love you. And then Moses just goes, so? Which is so much better than I know.
Yeah, it is.
All right? Now he's asleep, and so he says that in his sleep, but damn. And so she just fucking rolls over.
Icy cold.
And then he wakes up and he's all affectionate. Like he's the more affectionate of the two. And they get into an argument about population control because she's not fully against it and he wants to have kids despite the fact he gave up on that years ago. And like they're in a relationship.
He wants the option.
This is not going to make any sense to anybody who doesn't know who Homeboy Sandman is. Okay, he's a rapper. Jill's nightie is a Japanese robe, also known as a kimono. Anyway, in my notes I've written down, because it's a lyric in one of Homeboy Sandman's songs, location is the difference between a robe and a kimono. That's it. That's my whole story.
Okay.
It's not even funny.
I mean, it makes
just
sense,
think
though.
it is.
It's clever as fuck.
So fucking... Oh!
Uh-oh.
Moses says I love you and Jill says so in her sleep. And the reason why I remembered is because he rolls over and cuddles his robot hand instead.
Yeah, he like goes into the fetal position and like grabs the blanket and it covers his knees.
It doesn't she's barely wearing the blanket and then he only half-ass tries to take some from her. Like he knew it was going to be an argument if he tried harder.
He just covered the coldest part of his body and he's going to rotate through.
And then he's using the passive heat exhaust from the robot hand to warm the top.
Jill, is her name Jill? Because I just wrote redhead.
It's Jill, yeah.
So yeah, Jill wakes up and she begins assembling art, I guess.
Yeah. In the dead of night, welding loudly.
Welding
and grinding metal.
Melting plastic dolls?
Yes, because that's part of her art.
Sure. So
she's got the same art as a couple of the people I went to high school with who you could tell were inappropriately contacted as children.
That's not that.
I want to point out that in her fridge are two beverages, one named Synth Milk and the other named Lactoplasm.
Yeah, you see that lactoplasm get stomped on later, and it is a thick liquid.
What is lactoplasm?
Well, lactoplasm is a dairy substitute.
Breast milk that a ghost produces.
I don't know, whatever I was going to say is fuck it. That's way better than anything I had to say, just that, you got it. You got it.
She's watching TV. It's Gwar on TV. But in the background, it's a song from Ministry, which is so fucking disrespectful. You were able to get Gwar for the image, but you weren't able to get them for audio, so you just got another band that doesn't sound anything like them.
I thought this was more of that fake music.
It's a band called Ministry, but it's industrial metal, so of course it sounds like just any 80s synth rock shit.
But it doesn't sound like Monster Men.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
And at no point does anyone say, your womb is a sewer, which is what I wanted to hear. It's a lyric in a Gwar song.
You know what? If we would have kept the camera on the pervert long enough, I'm sure that would have slipped out of his mouth.
Yes.
Between tongue flicks.
Your womb is a sewer, and I'm going to eel it.
So right. Anyway, Jill's...
That's where we get the footage of literal torture while she's fucking watching TV.
Yeah, Jill's got like she's got power tools, melting body, baby doll bodies, and like and just this loud ass music, and somehow Dylan's still sleeping.
Yeah, no problem. Well, he's used to it.
You would think she would have like just a little respect, you know? He works so hard with that robot hand to go up there and
he probably
and
worked really hard with it. I'm sure his wrist got tired.
But she's so she takes apart all these robot parts and starts assembling it into her art.
Masterpiece.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's
now,
sure.
You're right. She does just put the fucking American Stars and Stripes on the head of the robot. I don't know why.
I'm sure it had a meaning. There was burn dolls. America burns babies.
Okay.
America runs on burning babies.
She's an anti-abortionist.
Is she? I feel like she's a full-on abortionist.
You're right. You're dead right.
Yeah. But hey, this is where you get the redhead being like, you know, I don't want kids. And then Dylan's like, you know, why don't you sell some fucking art and make some goddamn money?
You failure.
Well, it's very out of pocket right there. All you had to say was like, well, shucks. But instead you're like, you piece of shit with your
you don't want
fucking
kids?
art.
You're never going to make it. Your dream is dead.
Holy shit.
Yeah. No, they say some fucking... They don't agree on a single thing philosophically at all.
No.
And yet he keeps coming back and she keeps bringing him in. And then she goes, I don't know why the fuck I always let you in here. Wow.
Yeah, what's wrong with Shades?
What is wrong with Shades? Well, he's a drug addict.
That's true.
There's that.
He meditates with his sunglasses on.
But, like, you don't get to know what Shades' job is, aside from the fact that he goes to space. That sounds more lucrative than salvaging for scrap metal in Chernobyl.
I mean, Shades has got all this free time to just, like, walk the desert with his pal, picking up trash.
Yeah, get stoned to do yoga for an entire evening and night.
He's loaded.
Yeah, he must be killing it, dude.
His apartment is much nicer, too.
Nobody has time to do yoga unless you're fucking just rolling in it.
So then, God, I wrote the midge. So
you spent so much effort dancing around saying it earlier, and it's just right there on your notes. Hey,
the junkyard attendant calls, and he's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you about this," because he's been like researching the serial numbers on his hand, and he's learned that it's a military expensive thing.
Yes, it's named Mark 13, which is supposed to be named after a Bible verse about with apocalyptic collapse of the human race themes. Bible verse is fake, made up for the movie. Could have called it anything you want.
That's a bummer. Yeah, I'm sure there is a great Bible verse that's apocalyptic. They could have they could have chosen any.
I think calling your humanity, I'm going to murder humanity with a self-reanimating robot army. Calling it Revelations might raise some eyebrows. We're going to go with Mark instead.
Okay, fair.
All right?
Fair.
John and Luke.
So he's calling him up and he's like, hey, look, I'm worried. Like, I'm not going to give you the information right here, right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm worried about a phone tap. Yeah. There's too many ears.
I'm worried about a phone tap.
So instead, let me tell you exactly where and when I'll be. And you can come have the information there.
Now, I just indicated to you over the phone that this information was so importantly secret that I can't divulge it. Here's the time and place of my whereabouts for the next several hours. Makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And then you get Dylan reading the redhead to sleep with, like, the worst part of the Bible.
Yeah, the nightmare fuel part of the Bible.
Yeah, the part of the Bible that isn't, like, racist, but it's pretty bad.
There's an implication.
Yeah, the whole Bible is an implication.
I really, if I was Moses, would be like, listen, I just got out of the fucking drunk gun-wielding taxi drivers, and I just spent an hour and a half banging my girlfriend, and I'm fairly certain, because there's really only going to be one light out of the Venetian blinds, that someone was watching. I'll wait till morning to see you. But no, I got to go out in the middle of the night and not wake up my girlfriend, who's been pining for me so much that we aggressively argue. I'm not going to tell her anything.
So he leaves in the middle of the night, and again, the pervert's still watching, and he's like, yeah, that's right, love machine, get out of here. Why would you call him that? Why would you say that? Ew.
He says it with a jealous tone.
I know, but still, like, get here, shithead.
Well, you just watched him, the fucking Lance Armstrong marathon bang session that they just had that spanned the apartment.
Fair.
All right?
All right.
He's got a robot hand. He is technically a love machine.
Okay, all right, fine. Maybe he's like, she's just using him as a fucking penis.
Yeah.
Like a vibrating dick.
Like a fucking...
Until I grease mine in there.
Until I goose mine in there?
I said grease.
I heard... Well, I heard...
Because he is dripping.
You know what he's dripping with? Is popcorn butter. You know how I know?
Because that's where it comes from.
Because he's very interested in putting popcorn up Jill's ass and then pulling it out slowly, like anal beads.
I've got some points to make about that later.
Which is what he says to her over the phone.
Yeah, so, with...
I want to point out that fucking Jill gets up, notices her boyfriend is missing, and is like, fuck it, I'm getting blitzed at 3 a.m.
So she has one of her, like, her fucking joints.
Yeah.
But she gets this phone call. She gets this phone call. This is where she gets the phone call. And
when you get a phone call in this universe that's been built here, it comes with a screen where you can see the person on the other side.
Yeah, apparently there is no option to turn that off.
It doesn't seem like it.
Because
as the person making the call.
Yeah.
You can't just hit a switch and it's like FaceTime with the little tape over your
webcam. Yeah. No, you have to display yourself during this call.
Now, again, I'm sure tape exists, so he could solve that problem if he chose to.
Now, I don't entirely think he had a problem here, because now what we get is the pervert watching the boyfriend leave and then going, well, this is the perfect time for me to make a phone call.
Yes.
I don't know how he got her number. But he calls her up on
because he does all of the electrical maintenance for this building.
Oh my.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember. She made him a coffee one time, so this is the horrible thing he's going to do to her. Fuck it. Calls her up at night.
Man, it's revenge for the shitty coffee she made him.
Oh my, this seems...
It's all coming together, dude.
This seems a little much. So before he makes this phone call, you see him put a rubber glove on.
Yes.
Because, I guess he doesn't like to get cum on his hands.
That's the only reason I can think of.
Or, because it certainly, I can't imagine that feeling better.
Or he doesn't want to get his disgusting Niagara Fallsian body juices on the keyboard he's got to type the number into. Because that's just too much work for him later.
Fair. He doesn't want the buttons on his phone to stick. Gotcha. So he calls up what's her face here, and she's like, "Oh, hey Mo, where are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is Mo."
Yeah, I'm fucking Mo. Like, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference between this voice and your boyfriend's voice right away.
Yeah, like you're not gonna look at what's on the screen and go, I don't think Mo would do that.
Yeah,
because what's on the screen, Jay? Do you know?
Well, I'm looking at it because you've kept it paused at this exact moment and behind you on your monitor.
Yeah, I decided to throw this film on today just to give myself a refresher, and you happened to come at the right moment.
Looking at it now, I realize that it is. It's a page cut out of what I can only assume is a magazine, or it could be one of his Polaroids from the wall. And he has cut an eyelet hole, so for just his eye, so that's all you see, out of the puss and ass section of the picture. Didn't put that together until literally just now.
And if you didn't, I was going to make sure you knew.
Yeah.
That is definitely a porno magazine with a peephole.
Yeah.
So
a peephole on the peephole.
What's up? It's Mo.
Yeah, I just do this for fun now when I call you.
Yeah, I thought I'd just be a weird guy.
Let me tell you, if I turned on the old cam and I saw, if I'm on Omegle and I hit the random button there, and this is what I see, guess what? Hitting it again.
Yeah, hitting it.
I'm hanging this up right away. Mo is just at my apartment. Just come back if you want to talk to me.
So this is where it all comes together. This pervert.
Yeah.
Like, they've clearly cut things out of this movie. There's parts of this story that are missing.
Yep.
It is either Christmas. This film either takes place in December.
Right.
Or this serial murdering pervert.
I was going to say grower, but it's a cooker.
He has
chef.
He's got to have some obsession with Christmas because
I didn't even put those two things together.
He's playing Christmas music while he's jerking off.
Yeah.
He's got the Santa head on the wall with the hoses coming out of it.
When he shows up, is he wearing a Christmas Hawaiian?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think I saw trees.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then he mentions
yeah.
Well, he asks if she's ready to try the Hershey Highway.
Yeah, that's after the anal bead popcorn string.
Yeah, he inquires whether or not she would be interested in having a string of popcorn put up her ass, which is by the way, a thing that a long time ago people used to decorate their Christmas tree with.
Yes, I think that's not that long ago.
People probably still do it. I feel like it's a very sad thing to do.
It is, because that's cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
You're essentially putting garbage on your tree.
Well, hey, man, popcorn's all right when you're at the theater, but
when it's on a string in pine, that's not edible any longer.
I still might eat it. But I'll butter that shit up. So yeah, I guess she just hangs up the phone at that point. Are
you ready to try the Hershey Highway?
No, Jay, the human body.
Right.
The anus of a human body is built to. It's a snapshot, you know. It
is a sphincter, which is designed to close with force.
Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to jam a piece of a paper ball through a keyhole, but it doesn't exactly work. So how do you intend to put popcorn into somebody's anus without it just being crushed by the sheer, just the muscle of the sphincter? Because it's not going to be welcoming.
Kettle corn. You get that caramel glaze, that's a reinforcement layer. That's like a...
Oh, no!
It's like a protective shield of energy.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah.
I solved the problem
That's
for you.
all right.
It's not. It's really not. During this section of the movie, we get the first kill. And again, to reiterate, we are over an hour in. Is that right? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, we're like an hour into this podcast, hour 18 minutes.
Into the movie, based on the time code up there.
Yeah.
So, that one.
Oh, this is 39 minutes in.
Okay, 30. So we're 40 minutes in before we see a murder in this horror movie about a killer robot that self-repairs.
Yeah.
And the murder that we see is not one. It's just poor Alvy on the ground with some blood in his mouth. So immediately I'm disappointed. In the trailer for this movie, this robot has a buzzsaw arm.
It comes into play.
It does. Not until the end.
Nope.
I'm just sitting here wasting my fucking time waiting for him to use any of his spider arms except for just the one that stabs. Off camera.
Fucking, yeah. At some point during this research, it's like...
Let me tell you also, this Mark 13 robot is government created, and he is now, Alvy, while he's doing this research before he calls Mo over, is combing through classified government files on a computer with an internet connection.
Yeah, it's the future, buddy.
Okay.
Bluetooth.
Sure.
Bluetooth. By the way, I just put it together that the junkyard attendant,
yes,
his name was Alvy.
Yes.
And earlier you said...
Well, he has a different name, but...
Earlier you mentioned the shoes on the wall being his because they were tiny.
That was the joke I was trying to make.
Yeah, I didn't know that was his name. I get it now.
Okay.
I thought there was just some child that I fucking forgot about in this film.
Well, it's either Alvy's shoes or the baby in the stairwell shoes.
Oh, well. Look, what I think is when you have somebody's shoes, that person is in a hole somewhere. That person's dead.
It's in a Buffalo Bill hole.
Yeah, those are trophy shoes.
That's true. Well, I hung them up like a trophy.
And they labeled
like
them.
a fish you catch.
The redhead smokes a fucking joint, chills right out.
Yeah. It is called Good Vibes, by the way.
Major Good Vibes is what, and there's like an army guy on there. She chills right out. And this is when the robot begins to assemble itself.
Yes.
Yes.
They do a terrible job of showing that.
Yes, they do.
You barely get to see, like, I literally wrote down that it's shot so confusingly that I couldn't tell. Like, if I didn't know that it was capable of doing that, I wouldn't know what was happening.
So while this robot's
it's just
assembling,
a bunch of metal crawling along the ground, like, I don't know.
It is. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know if you've seen the film The Iron Giant. But he also self-repairs. And all of the screws just roll to him.
Right. I forget. Well, this guy doesn't. Yeah, does he have a magnet?
No. He's
got to find him and put him back on.
This robot in scenes looks like a decommissioned, like one of those robot arms you see in car parts factories that grab a pipe, put the pipe in a pile, and then just grab another pipe.
It serves one purpose, so it doesn't need flesh.
They just taped a bunch of saws to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Midge is doing research. And
that's how long it took me to understand what you whispered. Okay.
Fuck. And so he's looking at chemical weapons, and this robot's got a chemical weapon that makes death pleasant.
So it's needles that essentially give you a psychedelic trip on your way out.
Yeah.
Which is the most annoying part of the entire movie later.
Oh yeah, and this thing's got it's got needles coming out of its fingers. It's got like snake-like fingers. There's just needles coming out of this. Needles are. It's like,
how are you gonna get near it to service it? You know, people are getting poked by accident all the time, like you're reaching into a vent in a bathroom downtown.
Of all the weapons you gave it more needles than anything.
Yeah, give it a projectile.
Yeah, like what am I doing? I'm just looking at you needling things.
Yeah, this is like the least efficient killing machine ever designed for a bunch of reasons that show up later too that I'm going to get into.
Good. We're gonna get right into it.
Yeah.
The robot assembles itself. The junkyard attendant is now dead.
In researching this robot, you find out that the major malfunction of it is that when its insulation gets humid, it short circuits. Water. So a robot's worst enemy is water.
Well, don't tell them that, Jay. that would
immediately was like, oh, it's gonna die because water.
That would end the movie too quickly if they knew that water would kill a machine.
Yeah.
If a computer couldn't survive in a pond, then
how would Jill possibly know that? She's only fucking surrounded by them.
And all of her junk, she doesn't have one like bottle of water to splash on it.
Yeah, she's never thrown a damp towel on like her microwave.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. Dylan McDermott here, he shows up.
He does. Well, he realizes when he sees that Alvy is dead that Jill is in grave danger.
Oh, yes, indeed. And he tries to give her a call.
Because not only is Alvy dead, but the robot that clearly did it is now missing.
Yeah, and he has like this weird reaction, like, because like she doesn't answer, and he's just like,
It's odd.
I'm gonna give Shades a call.
Yeah.
Hey, Shades, you want to go watch my girlfriend for a second? And unfortunately, Shades is just out of his mind.
What's the old phrase there? 3 sheets to the wind or something like that?
He's 3 somethings to the something. I don't know.
What's the name of this fucking drug? It's called like...
I didn't even catch the name of it.
It's not called luminol, but it has the lumen in it. Okay?
Yeah. I have no idea. I didn't catch the name of it.
Synthetic fucking.
It took me a minute to realize that he was even high. I think he was just being weird.
And it makes crossing my arms and holding my own hands just the best thing in the world.
That's what they used to do in like grade 1 and 2. The teacher would be like, "Yeah, you got to do that." And
then gym stretches or some shit.
Well, you cross your arms and you hold your hands upside down, and then you flip them up around, and it's like you can't do anything because you've locked your arms in.
Well, that shit just blows you. Let go.
Well. That's the whole thing. She wouldn't let us. She was like, "You got to do this while I'm talking to you."
Oh, that's the dumb. That's yourself borderline abuse.
Put yourself in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
While I give you this lesson.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Also, how do you not get hand cramps doing that? It's not a natural position at all.
Yeah. So Jill wakes up And
you know what? I didn't get high enough on round 1.
Yeah, no.
Let's get high again.
She wakes up because the robot gives her a poke.
The robot gives her a poke. Now,
like an
the Mark
investigatory
13,
poke.
They make a point of having 2 separate scenes where Alvy is researching the function of this robot. Mo has to leave his sleeping girlfriend in the middle of the night in order to investigate this further.
Yeah.
That's how important it is to know that this robot is a killing machine designed to cull the human population down to near zero in order to restart the Earth. Somehow, his greatest foe is a fluffy pillow. Feathers and blankets.
Oh my God.
Holy fuck, does that ever make his life impossible?
He really, yeah, she wakes up and she sits up, and then this robot like starts attacking the bed, and and it's like Johnny Five trying to fold a sheet.
Yeah, he wraps himself up in that shit better than you could if you were trying to defend yourself from it.
They don't show him getting it out because I don't believe he could.
There's got to be a racial element to this like human eradication process because they made the robots fucking Achilles heel just a guy in a hood. A guy in a hood and a sheet.
Whoa! I mean, there was no. The sheet did all the work. There was no man in that sheet.
That's the larger part of the KKK outfit is the sheet. The hood is sort of just the pillowcase.
Well,
all the articles of clothing involved in assembling a KKK outfit are the hardest thing for him to deal with.
Well, when you say that kind of, I mean, yeah, because he just kind of keeps attacking the bed knowing that she's not on it at all.
The fucking blanket's all over him. He's like, I guess I just got to keep trying.
Yeah, it's my turn now, sheets.
Yeah.
So yeah, while this is happening, the perv is still watching.
Yes. And there's a scene here, there's a part where while he's watching, the Mark 13 helmet just shows up at the very front of his lens.
Yeah, like he's right in front of him.
Like he jumped across the street on the fucking, like from one window to the next just to look at him briefly and then go back to his business.
Yeah,
he takes up the entire, like, area of sight.
I was really hoping he zoomed in a little more for that.
For fuck's sake.
We'll pretend he zoomed in
also,
a little more.
Also, like, it's so badly, obviously, just like an image card that they put up in post.
Yeah.
Like, there's no actual movement.
No.
Stops on a dime.
I doubt they even did it in post.
His name's Link, by the way, which is hilarious.
Oh my God.
This perv's name is fucking Link.
His name would be fucking Link. So
the movie gets boring as fuck. The movie gets fucking boring. Oh my God. Jill, instead of just leaving her apartment because there's a killer robot in it, decides because now he's got his hand in the circuit board and he's fucking with the lights.
Yeah, because
he can't see.
Part of this robot is that it has a very convenient set of arms. He's got so many fucking arms.
Yeah.
This robot's got arms, and then he's got one spare arm so that he could have his hand attack that junkyard attendant, and then still have his 2 arms.
So I guess one of his hands just has like a series of Ethernet cables on it because he jacks right into the system like fucking Neo, and it's no problem.
Oh yeah, and he activates this emergency lock.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Which also, I assume it's to keep bad things out of the apartment because this door is like the door on an alien spaceship. Mm-hmm. When it shuts, you better not be in the middle.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's that door is shutting for business.
For some reason, though, and this seems counterproductive to me, but it turns off the power to the inside of the apartment. Well, just shuts the lights right off.
Every light was on. Lights are expensive. This robot understands.
I guess you don't need to see when you're hiding.
No. No. Honestly, this robot kind of fucks off for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, it just disappears. All of the robot attacks take place inside the apartment. Mm-hmm. And then a little bit on the windowsill on the outside of the apartment. I can't imagine you can hide a robot in that place. Well, Not one that's 5.5 feet tall.
With the lights out.
Yeah.
And you know how he's got, he didn't even have legs, did he? Did he have tires or legs?
It's like rollers. You see him lurching around later on, so I don't know. Maybe it's like that thing that they have on hand carts or very expensive motorized wheelchairs where it's 3 wheels and they roll upstairs.
Okay. So
I bet you that's what it is.
Yeah. Either way, you wouldn't hear that just going around what I assume
stomping around your dirty hardwood floor apartment.
I was going to say it's definitely hardwood.
It's either hardwood or straight up concrete slab.
Either way.
So fucking yeah, Jill gets out the oil can used to grease up the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz and just lights the wet end of that.
Because it's a Molotov cocktail. That's what it is.
And yeah, it's just walking around her dark apartment. Searching for the robot. Don't know why you would try to find it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, if you could place it where it is, and I'll tell you what. Do you know where the emergency jack is? Look, I can tell you where the breakers are in this house.
Sure.
Do you not know where your emergency jack is? How many emergency things?
You raise a really good point.
Like you must have panels all over the place where robots can just.
She obviously does.
Yeah.
Because the one that the fucking robot gets into is like in the dead center of a hallway, dangling at 6 feet.
That one, and then also he's like banging a computer at some point. He's like, there's like a weird montage of him.
He fucks his way into that computer.
He's like leaned over a computer, just going to town on it.
And then somehow, you're getting me mad. That's what's happening. Fucking Link realizes Link is somehow better boyfriend than Moses because he shows up first.
Oh, he's on the scene.
Yeah.
Well, he keeps an eye on her. He's keeping a better eye on her than Shades.
And my thing is, when you see that man, he's trying to buzz in. And you see that face. I don't know at what point he put on eyeliner, but he just has that on. And he's staring right at you like, it looks like you got a problem. I saw your lights were off.
I heard, I'm a neighbor. I heard some screams. I think it's also what he says, something like that.
He does say that.
Yeah.
That's when, so she fucking, dude. She opens the door and he's just there and he's like, I'm coming in.
No, thank you.
No, you're not. They have like all of like 3 seconds of a conversation before he just walks into her place. If I opened up my front door and a ham beast was already standing there and just said hi in a menacing whisper, because that's what he does. Guess what? End of door. Door gets shut right. That conversation is done.
I know, like, she's expecting a delivery that never comes.
Yeah.
But if you were to see him and go, oh, you're not a delivery person. Like, I'm not expecting anybody. And somebody knocks on my door, I'm not going to answer.
That's correct.
So I would look at, where's my package? You don't have it. Okay, this is the end of our interaction. I've got a robot to deal with. Unless I'm like, come in, huge fucking Tommy Bahama wearing motherfucker. Why don't you deal with this situation?
Come in, and the first thing that you do before you explain who you are to me and how you know who I am is try to open my fucking robe. He just reaches right over with his tongue out mid-sentence. Let me get a look at those.
I didn't miss that. I was just too busy being uneasy.
Red flag. Red is more fucking red flags than a violent football match.
Oh my god. Well, he calls her a subject, first of all. You're my favorite subject.
What the fuck does that even mean?
And also, I don't think much of your boyfriend. I don't see him being anything permanent. That's why I'm really here, is what he says.
Yeah. Are you wet right now? Would you like to be? How soaked are you? I saw you smoke a lot of weed. Does that get you good and moist?
It gets all my friends just the wettest.
Does it get you as moist as I am right now?
Also, when she opens the door, and like when he like starts to come in, she also screams no right in his face.
Yeah, she does do that, and he does not take it for an answer.
Nope. But yeah, he comes in and despite all of the things that we have said that he has said, she's pretty cool with him just coming right on in.
Yeah, cool with that. She was so uncool with it that she went, my boyfriend's sleeping in the next room. And then he goes into that room, sees the empty bed, makes no mention. Like, would that not be a contentious point between two people? Why'd you lie about your boyfriend being home?
Mm-hmm. Don't.
Oh, because I think you're a dangerous predator and leave, please.
Well, nobody wants to be told that. Nobody wants to hear that. That's not
fuck.
Well, yeah, he's like, hey, give me that torch. You can trust me. And he just takes her source of light and just wanders around.
Leaves her at the front door where Mark might be. Mark, the name of the robot.
And when he sees the bed is empty, he goes, hot night. What's his name?
Like you don't fucking know. Like you didn't already say it on the phone to her.
Couldn't you just put it together that he was the eye behind the asshole?
Here's the other thing, too. Like, he didn't put on a voice during that phone call.
No, he did not.
So it takes 2 sentences for me to be like, oh, you're the one who wanted to put a snack in my asshole.
You called my ass a snack. No, I said I wanted to put it in there. Oh my God. Yeah, so he just wanders around her apartment, like looking for something to fix and being like, hey, you know, your boyfriend's not around much, eh? Why don't you fuck your neighbor? Why don't you just fuck a neighbor? I'm close by, I'll fuck.
He gets a little bit into explaining like, oh yeah, I did the security for this building, so I know where all the panels are and fail safes. Then he still wanders around the entire fucking apartment before fixing the problem.
Yeah, he should know exact. Oh my God. And then she's clearly uneasy, so he goes, oh, would you like me to sing you a song?
And then he sings like the weirdest fucking song to come out of a person's mouth since 1840 when witches existed.
Yeah, the song has a threatening tone. It's nonsense.
Let me walk my wibbly walk right toward you.
Oh, and you know he's wibbly wobbly because of the Tommy Bahama shirt.
And then let me look at you with my fucking disgusting eyeballs. I'll cross them to make it worse.
Oh my God! At one point, he notices the blinds are closed, and then he's like, "Now
don't close these.
We gotta get these open so Santa can see in."
Yeah, so he's just obsessed with Christmas. That's what's up. That's what it is.
It's either that or it's December, and this is his time.
He likes Santa so much because he, like Santa, has a big present for her. And it's coming down her chimney.
It's ponytail first, baby. I'm going in.
Greasiest ponytail. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this whole thing, despite how we're describing it, there's no tension in any of this.
No.
There's no music. It's just the casual conversation between two people. And it should be extremely uncomfortable conversation between these two people. That's me. There's a point where... he says something that implies he's just straight up asking about whether or not Moses' dick is good enough.
Yeah, like this whole conversation should have her on edge, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It seems like a conversation she deals with on a daily basis.
Yeah. So not on edge that during the conversation, when Jill says, you know, I just want you to fix my shit and get the fuck out of here, she lets him get close enough to her face that he licks her nose, and then he just gets up and goes over and goes, all right, I guess I'll fix the problem now.
Ugh, yeah.
Like she didn't do shit. How do you not stab him in the fucking neck? How don't you take that tongue, like, with your teeth and just rip it out?
You know...
That's one of the grossest things that anybody could ever do for, out of the blue like that.
Yeah, it is. It for sure is. But I would say, given his size, like, there's probably not much of a fight there. I think he wins whatever situation they happen into.
Whether or not you're upset about it, that popcorn's going in.
Willing or unwilling. So, yeah, it's just like... And
then so he fucking goes in, he opens the blind so Santa can see, and who's out there? Now, here's the issue. Mark 13 is on the windowsill outside the window. He smashes the window, and then he eviscerates Link. He goes right in at the stomach, and he doesn't stop there. Here's the problem. How'd he get out there?
Hey, Johnny Five finds a way.
He would have had to have opened a window or smashed one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, either that or he phase walked through it like fucking the one guy from Terminator that just goes through the bars because he's Chrome Goo from Fortnite.
Also, like, what kind of ledges you got out there? You got suicide ledges? My God. You got enough room to get out there and think about it?
Yes, because Moses just straight up lays down, prone on that shit later, and he's fine.
Yeah, fair enough. The cities are a different place, I guess. So he gets this, like, meat drill. It's like a drill, and he puts it through him, and...
Yeah. During this scene, earlier when Jill was just grinding metal at fucking 2 or 3 a.m., the Japanese woman downstairs was banging on the ceiling with the broom.
Right. Yeah, I forgot all about the neighbor downstairs.
And then during this murder, she does it again. Also, part of the reason why she was banging on the ceiling is because she could hear Jill and Mo just railing each other. And then... well, she hits the ceiling again with the broom, ostensibly because she thinks it's happening again.
Oh my God. Not only does she do that, she fucking shames them.
Like, yes, she does.
Shameful. They're
not even married.
Not even married, and they're pounding that hard.
Dude, yeah. Before you get married, you got to do it through a sheet.
So the robot.
You got to be pure in the eyes of God.
The robot fucking. He kills the perv because he gives him this injectable and gouges his eyes out, and then he gives him the drill.
Yeah.
This drill is in a weird spot on the robot.
Yes. It's penis height.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Glad, because you know what? I noticed that and I said, this is penis height.
Yes.
It's an interesting tool to have at penis height.
It's penis height.
It's penis height.
The head of the drill is surprisingly squat and wide, which means it's penis shaped. And it spins. Slow, too. It spins slower than any drill I've fucking seen.
Squat and wide. You
Yeah.
did not just describe this robot's drill as a chode.
It's, just the tip.
It's got a sturdy helmet.
The drill is shaped like a mushroom cap.
It's like a baby's arm holding an apple.
Yes,
and
it is.
Spins.
Yeah, and it does. Which is the best part.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like, Jill just sits there and watches that. Later on, like right after this, the fucking robot's fucking with the lights. I'm swearing a lot because mad.
Get mad. Get mad.
Again, she just stands there and watches while the lights are flashing and danger is 10 feet away. She just stands there and watches it happen.
Is this
for like 5 fucking minutes.
Is this where the robot's like leaned over the computer?
Yes.
And he's just flickering
Yes.
lights like, yoo-hoo!
And she's just like by a doorway like, oh.
Now, I imagine a long time
in
ago.
slow motion, too, her reaction. They put her reaction in slow motion on her. Like, why?
A long time ago, that was scary.
Oh my god.
The lights going on and off by a robot? That was frightening stuff of the future, Jay. Back then, a lot of people
they were from 1990.
They were used to like flicking the lights on with their fingertips
and going boo.
And that was probably one of the scariest things they've ever seen.
To my little sister.
What I'm really mad about is that I know that they've cut all the good violence out of this movie, but what they've left
is this.
For real?
Yeah.
You didn't just scrap the film after you went, well, if we can't have the violence, why do we need the fucking and the strobe lights? Fucking strobe lights. Fucking.
Yeah, and a guy watching it all go down.
Yeah, and we'll cut out any sort of thing that makes sense as to why he's a Santa Claus guy.
I don't know what. You could have cut out his phone call. You could have cut out everything except for basically him flicking his tongue and watching through the camera. You could have that so that we establish that he's seeing into the apartment. You don't even need to have that necessarily. Just get the gross part of the fucking out. Also, cut the fuck scene down. All right?
Please. I know what fucking
That's
looks like.
That's going to turn your X rating to an R. Oh, like that. More so than cutting the violence out would.
Oh, yeah. I know what fucking looks like.
Yep.
Honestly, you could have shown that and then panned away like any good classy film would have.
Sure could have.
Panned away to some curtains blowing in the breeze.
The character Link exists. This is not a classy film.
You don't think Go-Gurts and them being compared to dicks, that's not a classy thing that classy people do?
Squeeze that tube, though. It's all, like, it's just... So, fucking... yeah.
This is where we get the doorman playing chess.
Instead of watching to see if the pervert gets into the building.
Yeah, which, by the way, he did.
Yes, he did.
He got right in there.
Real good.
You didn't see the same guy come back twice?
Yeah, and do and be gross both times?
Ugh. The security guard's playing chess with a cop or the chief.
It's the chief, and this
is
is like his deputy, his security's deputy.
And the chief says some like real deep ass shit that I thought was really going to come into play in the film, and
about chess,
and it didn't. It was like the robots don't understand sacrifices, and neither do morons.
Right.
So I was like, oh shit, that's going to be some deep stuff, and later on he's going to be the hero of the film, and it's going to tie into that really nicely, and then it didn't. And now I'm a fool for writing it down, thinking that would be a nice thing.
I really appreciate you doing, like, deep film analysis here and trying to, like, catch the foreshadowing metaphors. All that it gets you is a guy split in half, and then he shoots his friend in the face.
Yeah.
That's it. End of their characters. They do nothing in this movie but play chess and die.
Well, they shoot guns, too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, goes hand in hand with dying.
That's true. Super ineffectively shooting guns, by the way.
All this like dumb shit's happening in Jill's apartment, and her kitchen is filling with fog and red light, because that's what happens when your electronics go out of control. And she's armed herself with an electronic carving knife, which is good.
It's worse than any weapon on this robot, including the parts that make up the robot.
Yeah.
This robot is sharper than your cutting knife.
This cutting knife needs to be plugged in.
Even if it's battery powered, you need to get within 8 inches of the robot to use it, and it's made of metal. You have a grinder.
Nah.
You have a plasma torch. You were using it to cut metal earlier.
Well, this cuts turkey, and this guy's a real turkey. Fucking Jill looks into this robot's eyes and she knows within her heart that this bastard is using infrared.
Yes.
So she knows to get right in that fridge.
Because that's how infrared works.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a cold environment, it instead of making the fact that your body temperature is higher stand out, it instantly makes you as cold as the environment.
Yeah, exactly. It's about as effective as covering yourself in mud.
Yes.
To hide from predators.
I would almost argue that's more effective.
Probably.
She just gets in a fridge, leaves the fucking door open, and then she's sitting there hot in what is going to show up in infrared as blue and black. She's the only orangish yellow thing in the area.
Nah, she's good.
Not in this movie.
The robot takes a couple grabs at her breath.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Let me tell you where that breath came from. A warm body. So I actually looked up infrared imagery to see, like, okay, if you're a person like in the Arctic, right? Mm-hmm. Do you show up? Fuck yeah, you do.
Good Christ.
You show up for 100,000 feet through an infrared scope. That's why snipers exist.
What are you saying? Are you saying that this fucking LG fridge from the future doesn't get chilly enough?
That is, yeah, no, it gets too chilly. How about that? See, here's the thing, right? Because like I'm saying, when the temperature lowers, you go like further into blue and black, right?
So it's like when you were young and you were asleep in bed and your parents would like open the door to check on you, and all you see is a bright light and a black silhouette in the middle of it.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then they go the fuck to bed, stop playing Pokemon Silver.
They do. They do that, don't they? Motherfuckers.
Damn it. So yeah, the breath is just the hottest thing in the fridge, despite it coming from a much warmer source. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so this...
Just to build tension that doesn't exist in this movie, because it's not a tense movie. Because, again, this Mark 13 killing machine moves at about the pace as I would if I had no legs.
And this is what they designed to wipe out the population.
That's, yeah.
So if you have a brisk jog, if you could maintain a brisk jog...
She's got enough time while she's running away from the robot that wants to kill her to check out her appearance in a dirty mirror.
It sounds like but like if you were trying to get away from this robot, being in Lemmy's like taxi cab, that's the place to be. Fully surrounded by water?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's insulation.
There you go.
You know?
So yeah, the robot can't find her. It gets pissed off. It grabs at her breath, blah, blah, blah. It stomps on her bag of... so yeah, it does have feet because it steps on her lactoplasm.
Right. It's just... it needs some oil.
Her ghost titty milk juice.
Yeah.
And then the robot goes, you know what? I can't find you. Well, fuck all your nice dishes. And it just like spins around and knocks everything over. It gets
so pissed at like glassware.
And it like holds up a jar of preserves like right in her face and just breaks it.
Yeah. This is what I'm going to do to you if I could see you soon.
You piece of shit. So this is where we get Shades finally showing up because he's sobered up enough to show up. And
he woke up from his nap.
Make an intercom call, which distracts the robot enough for Jill to finally get a goddamn clue and pick up her power saw.
Holy fuck. Also, worth noting, there's a couple, like, while she's being chased around the apartment, there's a couple scenes where you get from Mark 13's perspective, and you can tell the hand that he's using to reach is just a guy with a glove on.
Yeah.
Like, it stops being a robot the second they need the first person shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be far too difficult. You would need 3 people to puppet that arm.
Yeah.
So we just put a rubber glove on this hand, and it's basically like a power glove, isn't it?
Yeah.
On that one
so
too?
2 power gloves. Oh, it turns out Moses is the robot. That's the twist, M. Night.
Boy,
It'd be a sick twist.
You took those words right out of my mouth.
Right?
The Shades is like, hey, I'm here. What's up? And at some point, the robot like knocks, like, I don't know, the tip of like a gas canister off, and gas fills the room.
Yes.
I don't know where that canister was where he did that. Like,
no idea. Plenty of gas in that room, though.
You would think that she would die from that, but
yes.
She actually lights a match and like throws it, and then the robot catches it like a badass.
Here's the problem. Well, I mean, he catches it, and then doesn't it immediately blow up right after?
Oh, for sure,
like the room does. Here's the thing about gases, though. They fill the container they're in. Which means if there's gas in the kitchen, there's gas everywhere in the apartment.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
That's why when you want to murder somebody discreetly, you turn off the pilot light and turn the oven on, because they can be. I don't know if you remember, but Child's Play. Yes. They can be in another room entirely and fire a gun, and that small spark will blow the house into oblivion.
Right? Yes, the way gas works.
Exactly how. Pissed?
Yeah, as you should be.
I don't like it when movies take, and like, you don't have to be a fucking genius to understand, like, to know these things. I'm not like some fucking savant out here with an eidetic memory reading encyclopedias and physics books all day.
No.
I just happen to know that if you turn the gas on and then you light a match when you walk into your house, you'll die.
You attended grade 11 science class, is what you're saying.
So I kind of really hate when movies just like ignore simple shit in service of like furthering just one scene, especially.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have her hide in the fridge.
No.
You could have had her hide literally anywhere in the apartment.
But no.
Under something. Under a thing.
They thought that with the infrared, that'd be like a smart little like, oh man, this is how she's gonna get away.
Opposite.
I think the robot like grabs her leg as she's running away or something like that. And
yeah, she gets sliced right up.
She like sprays some spray paint in its eyes, and that's how they get away.
Once again,
I don't know. There was a struggle.
Self-repairing killing machine thwarted by graffiti tag artists
and a drill. This is the scene.
Yeah, he tries to put that fucking drill right in her Jill hole.
Oh, you should.
That drill is right between her legs.
He tries to put the drill in Jill.
Yes.
But yeah, and also like it's missionary.
It is.
It's very much missionary.
She was doing forward cowgirl with fucking Moses before. You know, like spice it up.
Spice it up. Yeah.
The thing about the missionary position is when he puts his arm down to support himself, he's gonna cut you up with everything he's got.
He's just gonna crush your sternum.
That's making a new Jill hole.
So yeah, explosion, and at this time, like Shades is banging on her door. Where is security?
They're playing chess.
There's an explosion. Where is security?
Chess.
A man is dead, and there's screams coming from the apartment. Where is security?
Also, like she lights a match and throws it at the robot. What she throws at the robot is her pack of joints, which is a waste.
Oh, is it?
It's a fucking waste.
Oh,
because you're going to need to get high after this fucking ordeal.
Yeah, ain't nobody going to believe this shit.
No.
That's you. After almost getting, I don't know, drilled, we'll say?
Yeah.
You're gonna want to take the edge off.
After this fucking horrible, dumb explosion that sucks, even though, well, it was filmed, it only happened in the kitchen, her entire apartment is trashed.
She's on fire.
Yeah, there's shit, ash, and embers falling from the ceiling in completely different rooms on the other side, almost as if the explosion should have killed everyone.
Almost, but not quite.
Didn't even kill the robot.
Well, yeah, no, that would have been a very shitty movie, Jay. That would have been a terrible fucking movie.
If
the pervert dies and then the robot dies and that's that.
During this slow motion scene through the wreckage of her once beloved apartment, more Western music.
Is it the bow wow wow wow?
Yeah.
Wow wow wow.
Like she's about to pull out a 6-shooter and kill Shades with it.
Wow wow.
And then Moses is frantically banging on the door, and nobody hears that shit?
No. She finally lets people in. Yeah. Finally. And
what do, Matt?
They all aim these guns. Everybody's got a gun.
Like she committed a war crime and is going to be murdered by, what's it called? Firing range or whatever?
I don't understand where she... Like, what got in her head that all these people were there to shoot her? Because she's like, no!
Yeah.
These are your friends.
They are. The other problem, though, is that none of them gave her a lick of warning. Jill's warning to duck gunfire is Moses pointing a shotgun right at her face.
Yeah. And boy, does she ever take her time receiving that message.
Yeah, because it's in slow motion. Again.
But nope, the fucking...
Mark 13 right back there.
Yeah, and they RoboCop it out the fucking window.
Doesn't make a lick of difference because it turns out he had one claw left to dangle on the fucking wires. The exposed exterior power lines right outside the window you can just stand above.
Yeah, and it's at this point where everybody...
Yes.
Everybody at least one time says, it's over, it's done,
yes.
He's gone, we killed them.
I think Moses says it about 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Before he dies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
By suicide. Let's be clear about that. He's like, this is a bad trip. I'm going to kill myself.
Well, he gets like needled, doesn't he?
He gets needled, but... Okay.
So, they by the way, RoboCopping is where you just keep shooting at something, even though it's for sure dead.
It's either for sure dead or doing nothing at all.
Yeah.
Like they unload, and this is another thing too. I didn't even bother counting the rounds here because, like, Moses has like a 12-gauge shotgun, and the other guys have pistols. All right.
Yeah.
They unload an M60, like the fucking ribbon magazine's worth of bullets into this thing, and it, for the most part, just sits there and takes them.
Well, yeah,
like that episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force where Carl makes the robots count the bullets.
It's very likely it's because they're shooting at an inanimate object. So yeah, it's likely just gonna sit there and take it because it's a robot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's out the window. We're done. It's done. Finally, the film is over. We're good. We shot the robot out the window. That's that.
Roll credits, right, Matt?
Roll credit. Likely out that window. Like the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where they just push Shredder over the edge and he falls into a...
Did he fall into a dumpster and get crushed?
He falls into a dumpster, and then I think the dumpster loads it into a truck.
Yeah.
Or he lands in a truck and just it crushes him.
Well, it only crushes his helmet, but the implication is there.
Yeah, so they were all like, wow, we've all seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. This is 1990, for God's sake. That movie came out 2 years ago. We've all seen it.
This is a fitting end.
Yeah, this is the end
it's
right here.
It's time to fade to black with a kiss because Jill just had her life saved by her boyfriend.
And it's time for Dylan McDermott to try and wrap a dirty bandage on Jill's arm.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, I can do it, even though she can't.
No, she can't because she's got PTSD now forever.
Yeah. And then this is where Jill's like, this is where Dylan.
My point in asking whether or not we roll credits here is because there's still 20 fucking minutes left in this shithead movie.
Yeah, I'm really trying to explain to you what happens in this 20.
Yeah.
Because this is the end.
This is the dumbest and worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Now, there's been a lot of dumb and stupid. Once again, Jill showing absolutely no gratitude for having her life saved.
No.
You fucking piece of shit. You left me. I'm done. Don't touch me anymore.
And then,
maybe we should all just take the sterilization drugs.
Well, maybe. Well, Dylan pledges to make things better.
Yeah.
And then, if Shades finds a reason to fucking leave.
He does. I'm not really sure what it is.
And
my work's done.
Yeah, they realize that, oh shit, this is population control. And then the robot reaches through the window, because guess what, Jay? There's still another 25 minutes of this. It ain't done yet. It couldn't be done.
No.
They jinxed it.
It just gets stupider.
It was over far too many times.
Yeah. It was, dude. And it happens more and more.
Oh, yeah.
So
and it was almost to the point where they're like, hey, is it done yet? Yeah, it's over. We got him. Did we get him? Yeah, we got him.
Why would you hang out by the window that the robot just flew out of? Why wouldn't you go somewhere safe and comfy, like the bed? Like somewhere out of reach of a robot if it were, for example, clinging to a window. Now, pulls Jill right out of that window, and now she's clinging to power lines like a bird on a wire.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Mark 13 is tapped right into that grid. You can see his little hand inside the outside circuit box.
Oh, for sure.
Jill's like, Moses, can you save me, please? He's like, nah, I don't want to get electrocuted. You're touching power lines. It'll fry us both.
Well, he's smart.
Would it? Because the Mark 13 just touched you.
Shh. That's not how electricity works, my
So
friend. That's not how it works.
Either Moses is like, I don't want to get shocked a little. I don't want to get a buzz. Or he's just still so pissed that she was ungrateful about knocking him out of the window in the first place. He's like, you know what? This is your just desserts.
This is your just desserts. I got you this gift, and this is how you repay me?
Yeah.
By fucking my friend's shades and jumping out a goddamn window?
I know for a fact you fucked my friend's shades, by the way.
So, yeah, there's an interesting little fucking thing that happens right here.
Yeah, tell me.
Because I believe at this point, Dylan begins to fire his gun at the Mark 13.
Mm-hmm. In the area of his dangling girlfriend.
Yeah. So he does that. And I would say the first shot at least, no muzzle flash, no sound, just dust exiting the end of a gun.
I'm so happy that you noticed that as well.
Oh.
I didn't even write it down because I was like, I'm not going to delve that deep into this.
Nah, I will.
Yeah, no.
Because this movie's fucking garbage.
It's a fucking airsoft pellet that comes out of that thing.
Yep. Fucking.
And then muzzle flashes in post. Sick. Either that or it was a cap that misfired. Reshoot the scene.
Yeah. Maybe put one in post.
Sure. At least have some fucking consistency.
Nah. Well, that was dry fire. We had just a little dust had to get out of the gun first.
Oh my fucking God.
The robot just chucks Jill. Heaves her.
Yeah.
Right through the window of the downstairs neighbors.
Well, so Moses' plan here is, okay, you got to pretend that these power lines are monkey bars, and you have to swing to safety on the windowsill below.
Right.
What Mark hears that plan, and he goes, hey, I got a better idea. Snip, and cuts the power line, so she swings onto that windowsill, and then continues to go through the window, where she dies. I emphasize this point because they do a spinning zoom out, and her eyes are wide open on the table, and she is dead.
You would think.
She's fucking dead.
If not concussed.
Nobody falls asleep with their eyes open.
Some people need
Horses.
to. Whales, I don't know, sharks, people who've got a...
So I was like, okay, dead. Now, Moses just decides within himself without checking that she is indeed dead. And then goes, well, bummer.
Whoopsie poopsie. You guys got this, though, eh?
Yeah, no, you're probably good, right?
Nice Asian family downstairs. You've got this, right? Don't mind the perverted blood dripping through the garbage ceiling.
This fucking poor Japanese family that just wants to have dinner in peace without hearing fucking killing or having their house destroyed.
Well, they should move buildings. They knew what they were getting into the second they moved into the building that was blown out and full of homeless people.
They don't get to have any of that.
Well, they gotta step over a baby tied to a dead person every time they leave their apartment, Jay. That should be your first sign, is when you're like viewing the apartment. It's like, oh, what is this, a dead person and a baby? Yeah, they're tied together. It's like that.
Mark 13 then grabs Moses' leg, and Moses just kicks the building for no reason because of how upset he is that a rubber glove has now attached itself. Now, I wanted to point out, this is a glove on a building with a robot nearby it. The robot is not moving at all because, like, the hand is gripped onto Moses' leg and he's jerking it around. The only thing that moves is the hand and wrist. The rest of that is just parts stapled to a building.
No, it's a robot, Jay.
It fucking sure isn't.
Jay, it's a robot.
He fucking drags both the robot and himself back over, like, the fucking windowsill into the apartment, and he gets needled.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, you can't kill me. I'm divinely protected.
And is this where he slits his wrists?
Yes. This is where the poison eventually starts to take effect. And then he goes, well, I don't like any of this. And he didn't crossways for attention.
Oh, no. Oh, don't say
like Constantine,
that.
because he wanted to talk to Satan.
Good Christ. Cut to this like nice family of people whispering to Jill, being like, "Let go."
Yeah, dude.
Just let go.
They got the fucking chief and the chief's fucking assistant or whatever.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I forgot about that. They're trying to like revive her and get her conscious.
No, they are not. They're telling her to die.
A couple people in there are. And then in the background you just hear that. It's okay. You can let go. Stop fighting.
That's the family who are just sick of hearing their pounding. Every Saturday night, this lady gets fucked.
Yeah.
Just die already.
Shit.
Holy.
That's so like everybody went down there to make sure Jill was okay, and Mo was just like, fuck it. She's done. Might as well join her, like Romeo and Juliet.
And we get some
Romeo's this and Juliet and Jilliet.
I don't like what you. I'm not gonna give you that one.
I actually wrote down my favorite quote during that revival scene.
Okay.
Sweet release waiting. Someone just fucking says that to a woman while she's in intensive care, basically.
Good. That's what I like to hear. That's what I really like to hear.
She's like, nah, fuck you guys for coming to check on me when my boyfriend didn't. I'm only worried about my boyfriend. I'll hit you in the head with a bat.
I don't know how Jill figures this out. But the defect, I forget.
Let me tell you exactly how she figures it out.
Please let me in on the secret. I'm so curious.
Jill goes up to check on the boyfriend that left her for dead in a Japanese person's apartment.
As you do.
Finds that he is now dead. From cutting his wrists. And I gave it the benefit of the doubt at the time, like, oh, he knows he's poisoned, so he's going to try and bleed himself out. But nah, that just isn't what happens. He just fucking dies in a fever dream. So what happens next is the Mark 13 is still tapped into the computer, into the circuit board. So she goes over to a console and starts reading its thoughts.
Yes, that's right.
In that scene, also, inexplicably, are Moses's thoughts. Where he explains, in broken English, insulation, defect, humidity.
Right. Yes, that's correct. Because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with no prior hinting towards it, she becomes a Matrix-style computer hacker.
Yeah, which would have solved a whole lot of problems for the former hour of the movie.
Just why didn't you do that the first time?
You wouldn't have needed Link if you knew how to do all that shit.
You really didn't need Link.
No.
But I'm glad that he's dead.
That's fair. This is when I realized that it all takes place over the course of a night. Because it hasn't even been morning. Okay, they go to sleep, he leaves, he comes back, people are dead, and so is he now.
Well,
longest night of my life.
A good portion of this movie, like when Jill like smokes that joint and chills out, like a good portion of this movie takes place, and then it cuts back to like her joint, finally burning out.
Yeah, like burning her finger at the time.
So it's like, was that like a 40-minute joint? My God.
Yeah, right. That's the stupidest thing. And I may have said before that there was there was a part that was the dumbest part, but the part where somehow the Mark 13 can transfer consciousness into a computer just by touching a person. Yeah. Is the stupidest part of this fucking... You know what that is? Oh, what's the name of it?
But that's
it's called Deus Ex Machina, I believe.
Okay.
And it's a plot device that solves the problem.
Yeah, okay.
Just to solve the problem.
See, I was going to, my thing was like, that you hit a wall and this is like the ladder you made to get over the wall without actually having to like come up with a solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A real Jacob's ladder.
Fucking.
To heaven. Fucking Gil, that's funny. While Jill is doing all this computer shit, her friends are dying.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
This is when the chief gets crushed in the door because she can't figure out how to keep that from opening and shutting violently, which would be a priority.
And it mashes him up good. It just keeps going and going.
Now, one of the scenes that they cut out of this movie was the other kid that was with the chief.
The headbanded, getting
disemboweled by this robot. I want to see.
Yeah, so it goes from like the security guard being upset that the chief is cut in half
to him just being shot from the chin to the skull.
Yeah, there's you don't see him, and then all of a sudden he's dead, and the robot drags him off, and just you didn't show him dying, but you showed the robot just cutting him up for no reason.
He's already dead.
He is already dead, and the robot picks him up and drags him away.
Maybe that's his recycling function.
The robot's only doing that because it wants to.
So
it has to be.
I don't know why her top priority now is stopping the robot when it should be getting out of the apartment. But Shades made it through this opening and shutting door just fine, which means that they both can make it out just fine.
Yeah, he times it out like a Mario video game.
And let me tell you, that robot does not move fast enough to make it through those doors. They crushed a man into 2 pieces. You could just put him in that. Problem solved, fuckface.
Yeah.
And then, because you had your epiphany, pour water on it. Just get some. But no, instead we get the fucking longest, most annoying act of travel to the shower.
Just crawling on the floor.
Stupid. And then just get him in the shower and turn the water on by accident. She's just grabbing for the fucking anything, and she ends up turning the hot side on.
Well, Jay, please don't just gloss over where the robot uses its human hand to fumble around with her clothes while its drill dick is spinning.
I mentioned that.
Did you? Did you mention where it grabs her shirt and tries to pull that open?
No. Okay, fair enough. But not the shirt part, the between the legs part.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to make everybody know that it's human arm that it has sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely tried to see a titty.
The person tried to see a titty. How's that?
I guess so. I guess I'll accept that. So,
that's the movie, dude. Nothing else good happens while fucking her and Shades are dicking around. After trying the water, she gets up out of the shower and just hits it with a bat. You're good on the water. You're done.
Yeah, and it catches fire, and then she just beats it she breaks its drill penis off with the baseball bat. It's really soft metal. If you could just bust it like that with a
it's a penis.
Yeah, with that hard metal dick with a baseball bat, didn't stand a chance.
No, it did not.
Snapped it right off like a twig.
Well, you know, if you're gonna use it for what he obviously wanted to use it for, you're gonna want a little give.
Yeah, I guess.
You know?
I guess if you want it to be pleasurable for everybody.
Apparently, the actor who played Jill actually broke that bat in real life filming that scene. Impressive.
Good.
I'll take it.
Good.
But that's the end of the fucking movie.
Yeah, that's right where the movie ends right then and there.
Yep.
And you're kind of like, wow, that's like thank God. You feel better.
I can do anything else now with my time.
Yeah, and honestly, you listen to us explain this film, you don't have to watch it.
No, and don't. This is my advice.
But it's
not worth being able to say that you watched a referenced movie in The Office.
Based on this,
just watch that scene from The Office.
Yeah, just listen to Gabe want to watch it, because
I'll be honest,
he does way more justice to the film than it's worth.
Yeah, he does. And I mean, if you want to get a little bit of a taste of what watching this movie is like, just listen to Erin's voice and look at her face in any episode of The Office she's in, because she's just as grating as if this robot had an arm that was a cheese grater.
Well, there you go.
Pissed.
And what do you rate the film?
3.
Wow.
You know why it got a 3?
Why did it get a 3?
Because I gotta watch a really fat man get his insides brought out.
That's fair. By a robotic cock.
I got to watch
a robotic cock.
A black man get split in half, and that's it. 3.
Yeah. Okay. The pervert went to her apartment to get fucked, and he did indeed get fucked.
That's true.
He got what he wanted. Mm-hmm. Not what he wanted, but what he wanted.
Given how aggressively kinky he seems, this was probably on his bucket list.
Probably.
You know?
Probably. I gave it a 4.
All right.
Just because of the the pervert. I'm sorry, but
we had 2 different schools of thought on why this movie deserves the rating it got.
Yeah. So, like
filthy pervert dressed
honestly,
like fucking.
That was like the golden or the silver lining of the film. I don't want to say gold. Gold is too fancy.
The silver lining who looked in the fucking mirror and went, I bet this chick would really like me if I showed up looking like Gerard Way after a bender.
After a bender, more like after a life of just hard cheese eating. That would be more accurate.
I want to celebrate. We made it this entire podcast without talking about shitting.
We did good. We did really good. Wow, really 2 hours and 15 minutes and you fucked it.
Yeah.
Well, look.
It's satellite though. We're not having a discussion. I wanted to point it out.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. I won't even count that. I won't even count that.
Perfect. You got some fucking movies for me?
I do. After our first podcast where fecal matter was all right. We're good.
Discussing the fact it wasn't discussed.
That's good.
It's like putting a hat on a hat.
Yeah, and we certainly won't talk about how I mentioned that it was part of your job earlier, but we're good.
No, that's fine too, because it had nothing to do with either of us personally.
Oh, good. All right, so the movies this week. Let's get them. Let's get them out here, because like you brought me this fucking film.
Yeah, I did.
So
now I was led astray.
Mm-hmm.
Ordinarily, I would apologize for this.
Okay.
I wanted to go in blind.
Okay.
And I'm paying for it.
And this week, you may be doing the same. So I've got 3. I got 3 themes. I had 4.
When you said you brought me this film, your eyes glazed over like it gave you a stroke.
Well, that's what it felt like watching this film. All right. So here's what you got. All right. You brought me this movie about a robot.
Okay.
This robot kills people. There's nothing to this film.
Yep.
So
we're not watching Bicentennial Man.
I had to go in there and just like pick little things out. So what I've got
wasn't a whole lot palatable to pick from. Huh? I'm aware.
We've got killing machines required to reassemble themselves. Sorry.
Okay.
Metal.
Guar.
And then we got a film with a real killer robot. You motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I really wanted was to have Christmas as a theme.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, there's other than a movie that like takes place around Christmas, there's no real film that would fit in here other than a film that comes out in 2 weeks, Jay.
You're just going to gloss right over Krampus like that.
Krampus it doesn't really fit. It's just a Christmas film. That's why I'm not including it, because I would have just included a Christmas film. Okay. Honestly, it was going to be Silent Deadly Night Part 2. That was going to be
so that we could watch the garbage day scene and then turn the movie the fuck off.
That's it. Yep. So that's why it's not one. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
December 9th, Christmas Bloody Christmas comes out.
Mm-hmm.
A film about a killer animatronic Santa. So this would have been... It would have fit right in there.
You're right.
I'm so mad. So it's not... You got killing machines required to reassemble themselves, metal, and real killer robots. Just fuck this killer robot. That's what you got to choose from.
I'm trying to think if I know any of these. I do know of a couple movies that have self-reassembling robots in them, but I can't think of any right now. And then real killer robots, Terminator isn't really a horror movie. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. I don't think he's ever been in a single horror movie ever.
There might be one.
Okay.
I don't want to say none, but there might be one.
And then the second one was what again?
So you got
metal.
You got killing machines.
Yeah.
Required.
I got
to reassemble themselves.
Okay.
Metal.
Mm-hmm.
And then real killing robots.
Much as I would like to watch Deathgasm, it's not Deathgasm.
It's not Deathgasm.
Let's go with metal then, because now I'm curioso.
So you want to watch Tetsu?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know Tetsu?
No.
Wow. All right. I don't know. I've never seen it either. It's Japanese, Jay.
I was going to say it sounds fucking Japanese to me.
It's Japanese.
Which is, you could have also, Japanese downstairs neighbors.
Oh, wow. It fits. Wow. 2 levels. And now, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Tetsuo?
That is not a horror movie, I don't think.
That is a movie about a dude who turns into a robot. Or not a robot, but like a metal thing.
Okay.
And it's a body horror.
Okay. Sure.
He's got a metal fetish. I forget exactly what happens.
Okay.
But let me just tell you, killing machines required to reassemble themselves. You passed up Jason X.
I'm a son of a bitch.
And then real killer robots, Chopping Mall.
I knew Chopping Mall was going to be on there, dude.
That's you gave me so little to work with that Chopping Mall had to be on there.
Amazing.
All right. Well, this film, this is going to be a weird one.
Before we do this, I need to make sure of something.
Okay.
Give me a second. Is there a trailer that you've seen?
No. It's come up on many lists.
Tetsuo is what is correct. Now, I have a vague memory that needs to be addressed here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, this is something very else. I want you to know it's what inspired Akira, and then also it's in black and white, clearly.
That's fine.
So, all right. Fine. Grindhouse Movie Cub.
Yes, well, all of the pandas are here.
You're the bear, because you're hairier than me.
I'm going to let this one slide.
Yeah, you are.
Because it's factual.
Grindhouse Movie Club. Get ready for the lowest viewed, listened to podcast next week.
Look, we could have had Jason X.
I'm actually kind of curious and excited, so let's go.